a lot think more with emotion.
If I don't think this thing is come from within America, this come from.
We don't know yet where it came from. We don't know.
Okay, but we will find out soon, right?
Yeah, we sure will.
And when this is no longer internal, and I don't know why you want to have it internal, and we do not know how many more are there. When it's foreign, American is under attack.
300 SIM servers, over 100,000 SIM cards, enabling encryption and anonymous communication, 30 million text messages per minute. That's insane.
This bypass firewall.
Okay, maybe you didn't hear me 60 seconds ago, comrade. Did you hear me say, yes, in a couple of minutes, I want to speak to you? A couple of minutes? Did you hear me say that 60 seconds ago? I presume because you're on mute, you did hear me say that. The answer is yes. Thank you. Just wait a couple of minutes, and you and I will speak uninterrupted. I promise. If anybody else in the audience wants to come up, please do. Dave, are you good, or did you want to talk more for now?
I just want to say, Russia have building with 10,000 people. They are able to, try to attack from abroad. But now this is within U.S. soil. This bypass firewall, and this behaves like someone having a SIM card. And this is serious, Uncle Steve. I thank you for pointing out. I hope you continue to investigate this and lead the discussion in this area. Uncle Steve,
I will. You're welcome. The article, and I haven't even read the whole article. It says that this facility could text message the entire country within 12 minutes. Okay, very good. Okay, comrade, you're up. Hi, go ahead.
It's very likely that this server farm is just a spam and phishing farm. These are exceptionally common, particularly in the global south. They happen everywhere.
They're common, really? I know that.
Yes, they're exceptionally common. You just don't tend to see them in the United States, which is where the spectacle is. And if they're sending out...
Where do you see them?
They pop up in Bangladesh, they pop up in India, they pop up in places all around South Asia. I mean, they've existed in Indonesia. There's some in Singapore and etc. A lot of these farms do multiple things. They'll send out fake text messages talking about how you've you have the wrong login for your Facebook account.
Yeah, no, I've gotten some of them. Yes, I know, yes.
But it's very easy, right? After a country has been logged as a country having a lot of these spam, server shops. You might hear about the myth of the former Nigerian prince. These were server farms. And the IPs that these are...
I still get texted at least once or twice a week from a Nigerian prince or princess. Please continue, yes.
They started with, spam emails and etc. After certain countries get found out, you have to figure out a different pool of communication due to, the IPs being associated. And internet service providers in different regions being associated with high volume of this traffic. So it would make sense if, there's a small organization that has made money off of scamming people in a different region that has transported to the United States and created a server farm to, outflow mass text messages. And I don't know if you guys noticed, I get an absurd amount of spam messages on my cell phone. So it's very unlikely to...
How would any of us know how many spam messages you get on your cell phone?
I mean, you could assume based on the amount of spam messages you get.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, go ahead. Okay.
It is significantly more likely that, again, it's a phishing or a spam farm rather than China or Russia. Now, I would not be surprised if the media tries to spin it that way. I mean, that would be effective. But the reality is that neither China nor Russia are the enemies of the average United States citizen. right? Yes, our governments are adversarial. Yes, the market.
Did you hear what was announced about TikTok? Right.
Sure. I mean, it's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant.
Yes.
The reason why I brought it up is because you said that China is not an enemy of the average person, like you didn't say it, but me or you. No. Isn't the whole reason why we're looking for ownership and Oracle? They said Oracle is going to be in charge is because the United States government is afraid that TikTok is going to get social security numbers and passwords and secret stuff from the United States citizen like you and me?
No, that's nonsensical. You don't input your social security number via TikTok. If you're talking about working for TikTok.
China has not obtained information. It's a question, and then yes, the answer is yes.
Why would I want to speak with you, Jack?
So.
When I got the green bean, you can just sit where you belong. In the stew, in the goo.
And applications and all
your
digital
requirements.
devices that you utilize gather information on you.
You
That
can
is
put
not
something in the
unique to
chat if you
China
want.
Or any other country where an application that you utilize comes from. You utilize an app that comes from Australia or New Zealand or Germany or the United Kingdom. They also collect data. This is not unique, nor is collecting data inherently a scary or dangerous thing.
Then why is the United States government so bent out of shape about keeping TikTok U.S. in American ownership?
Because it is profitable, and we have two colliding, competing markets, and the digital giants, and particularly the social media giants that compete with TikTok, do not want a competing market, a country from a competing market to outperform them. So they want to take control over it, which is why Mark Zuckerberg and people like Jeff Bezos have proposed trying to buy TikTok or taking control over it because they want to eliminate competition from the market, which is why Instagram has a clone version of TikTok with Reels. It's about market competition. It isn't about China doing something nefarious with a application where you can make literally 60-second to 10-minute videos. It's ridiculous. It's literally just Vine. Utterly ridiculous.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's go to Mountain. Hi, Mountain. Mountain, going once. Mountain, going twice. Okay.
TikTok, for you to say that. I was just on mute, What's up? What's going on, dude?
Hi. Did you want to contribute now, or did you want to wait?
Well, yeah. What do you're talking about? If you mind refreshing me on this thing, you're freaking out. What's going on?
The Critical Thinking Forum was on. Is it time to get tough with Russia? And then we've been talking about cyber security.
Oh, okay. I see. I guess getting tough with Russia. Haven't we been doing that for a while?
I don't know.
I feel like we've been doing that anyway. At the end of the day, I feel like we've been kind of putting pressure on Russia, labeling them as, enemy for a while. But today I was looking at, where Charlie Kirk was shot from on Google Earth, and just to confirm it wasn't.
Okay, I don't think that has to do with Russia or foreign affairs.
All right.
Let's keep the discussion here to Russia, China, foreign affairs. If you want to talk about anything else, hello, we can do it on the weekend. Thank you. Go ahead, Mountain. Go ahead.
Sure, man. No, I'm good. You guys go ahead.
Thank you. I just want to comment, please, to Comrade. TikTok has the hearts and minds of our youth, and they certainly operate it differently in the United States than they do with the children of China.
Really? You think TikTok really gives a shit about the United States youth?
Yes.
Really?
No, they don't give a shit. They are.
Oh, there you go. I agree with you.
They don't give a shit, but certainly the content is way different here than there.
All right, tell you what, you guys both got to speak. We'll come back to you. Let's go to Jane. Hi, Jane. Welcome to the after party.
Thank you.
And you're welcome.
I didn't go to the party, but I'm glad to be here.
I was there for the last half hour.
Okay, hope it was good.
For the last half hour, it was, yeah.
Cool. Well, on the issue you asked, I think after Comrade spoke about TikTok and privacy, I want to pick up on that.
Sure. My understanding is TikTok has 170 million users in America. That's my understanding. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm one of them. My daughter's one of them. So
I'm not.
The point is the question you asked. I didn't know if it was rhetorical or like why would the U.S. want to get involved. I just want to make sure it's answered for the room. Because Zuckerberg et al. Don't like the competition. They've lost certain age group demographics.
That's what Comrade was saying.
And I agree with Comrade, so I just wanted to reinforce that. And then
you think all the United States government talk about getting information and Social Security numbers is bullshit. It's just a marketing share money issue. That's what you think, yes?
I think it's fear mongering generally.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Because if we see who else does this, we give all our information to the other companies. Why is TikTok so different? Because it's China. But most companies, for decades, if not, definitely decades. Well, we've been in business. We went to China.
Yeah, well, Facebook has survived and profited mostly on obtaining and selling information, where before Elon Musk, X or Twitter survived or got most of their money from advertising. Please continue. Yeah.
Have you been to China, Steve? I've only been once.
No, I've never been to China. No.
It'll be one and done for me probably as well. But what they can't do is they can't use these. Their government controls what the citizens are allowed to use.
That's right.
That's not something I'd like to see happen in America.
Thank you, Jane. Let's go to my friend. Hi, my friend.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Cool. Welcome to the Critical Thinking After Party. Critical Thinking the Critical Thinking Forum was, is it time to get tougher on Russia? So we can talk about Russia, China, or United States foreign affairs, whatever you want.
Is it time for the U.S. to get tougher on Russia?
I believe that was the title of the show. I can tell you exactly. Give me about 5, 4, 3, 2.
It was, Steve, yes.
And is it time to get tough with Russia? That was the title of the show. Yeah.
Aren't there a bunch of Ukrainians who want to be part of Russia?
When you say a bunch, what percentage of the Ukrainian population is a bunch?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Then the answer is no. They want to remain independent.
Hence the war?
Correct.
That's why there's a war?
Yeah, the answer is no. They don't want to be part of Russia. They want to be part of NATO, which is not going to happen.
There's a war because Zelensky went to war. Look, a guy like Zelensky, let me tell you, he wants all these missiles. When you start a war, Zelensky started the war, okay? He has all these missiles, okay? And now he wants more. Little Zelensky, like a little rocket man, wants the missile.
Little rocket man.
It's amazing to me. The reversal of this narrative, Steve, I just find fascinating. I find, and again, it's a pleasant turn of events. I mean, look, I hope Trump's serious, but the fact that you can turn around a narrative like this, from going to asserting that this guy started the war and was a terrible person and a dictator and aggressor who had to basically, eat crow for the sake of peace to.
Well,
you think he could get
Scott, you have to read between the the lines, read between the lines. They'll still vote for him too. It's like,
Yeah, how did Zelensky start the war? By staying within his own country? Yeah, it's a good point. Hey, my friend, so there's the answer to that question. Did you want to contribute more or ask more questions or anything?
I mean, there's a little bit more nuance than hype.
Of course there is. Hang on, comrade. So I think it's my friend's turn, right? My friend, anything else? Or are you good for now?
Yeah, I'm not super well informed about Russia, but I'm looking it up that Putin said something about there was something going on in the Donbass, allegations of genocide in the Donbass, so that's what I'm reading about.
All right. Are you good for now, or what?
I have nothing further on Russia at this time.
You got it, buddy. Thank you. Let's go to Vishel. Am I pronouncing that right, Vishel?
Yes, Steve.
Hi.
I just wanted to add to whatever Comrade was saying. And, I want to start with saying that there is nothing that Chinese government can do which U.S. government is not already doing to their own people or to others.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, let me give you an
Really?
example.
Well, let me tell you why I'm not sure about that. Because China is a arguably communist. What's the other word I want? What type of government where you centralized and what's it called? Dictatorship, communist, and what's the other one?
Nazi?
No, not Nazi, but it's whatever. They can. The government can come knock down your front door at 12 midnight. They can put a bag over your head. They can handcuff you, and they can drag you to their
Totalitarian.
No, I'm speaking of something. No, you guys know what it is. Can't think of it. Anyways, they can come drag you. What? What?
Authoritarian, Steve?
No, you all know what it is. What was Hitler? What was he classified as?
Fascist.
Fascist. Thank you, fascist. That's what I was looking for. China is a communist fascist government. It means. Let me say what I want to say, because he said China can't do anything that the United States can't do, and that's not true. China, the government can come take you from your home, and they can bring you to a jail. They can put a bag over your head. They can tie your hands behind your back. They can question you. They can torture you. They can kill you. They can dismember you, and they can bury you in different parts of China. You can't do that in the United States. Please continue.
Wait, have you ever heard of
I'm sorry. Have I ever heard of what?
Guantanamo Bay.
Okay, I can only speak to one person at a time, and I'm speaking to Vishel, so everybody please mute up.
But have you ever heard of COINTELPRO and the CIA?
That's what I'm asking you. I have never heard of COINTELPRO. No, I have not. What is it?
That's impossible. So
wait a minute. Who's talking now? Someone else is talking. Comrade. Okay, I'm going to ask you one question. What is COINTELPRO? What is it?
COINTELPRO was a counterintelligence program launched by the CIA to suppress political dissidents.
What year?
This happened between the early 1950s.
The 50s.
Throughout the 70s.
Throughout the 70s. Okay.
They were primarily utilized to crush black radicals who were fighting for their rights.
I'm familiar with the premise. I just didn't know it was called that. I'll get back to you. I will get back to you, I promise. Vishtel, did you want to talk anymore?
Yes.
Go.
Just last point. It's been 10 years that the European Union has not been able to trust US with their data, and after what Snowden.
The European Union cannot trust the U.S. with their data. It's been 10 years, okay? All right.
Read up about Scram's judgment, Scram 1 and Scram 2 judgment. They came, it was pronounced after what Snowden exposed about European data being used by the U.S. government to snoop on European people. Since then, they have not been able to trust U.S. with them, and they still don't. So America is still not on the white list of sharing data. However,
because of this, Russia doesn't step arguably 1 foot inside NATO countries, right? because they're protected by the United States, right? But the NATO can't trust us.
I mean, it's not that simple, is it?
Well, actually, maybe it is that simple.
No, you're making
No,
it too
okay.
simplistic.
All right, go ahead. Please, go ahead.
The point is, everything we know about China is through U.S. media, right? And if you listen to Chinese media,
No, that's completely untrue. Everything we know about China is not only because of the U.S. media. That is not true.
so tell me, where do you read about all these stuff about
Where do I read? What about if I know a government official? What about if I know somebody in the FBI? What about if I know somebody in the CIA?
Yeah, he's supposed to work for U.S. interest against Chinese interest, of course.
Well, you can make that argument about any topic in or inside of the United States. That everything we learn is because of the media.
I'm saying if
It is our watchdog. That's why we have a free press.
the point
That's why we have an amendment.
The point is, if you listen to Chinese media, they'll tell you the exact same thing about
I
you.
don't listen to Chinese media, do you?
I mean, I would like to. Why not?
Okay, so you don't listen to Chinese media, right?
I do sometimes.
You do?
Perhaps.
Okay. All right. Well, you have more experience at it than I do.
Yeah, I mean, if you just listen to Global Times, you'll get to know about what's happening with U.S. politics. But the point
I
is,
wouldn't trust anything that the Chinese media said. I wouldn't trust a word they said. It's state controlled, right?
U.S. media is not state controlled.
No, the U.S. media is not state controlled. That's completely untrue also.
Okay.
I don't know why you're laughing.
I mean,
The United States media, the America's media is not controlled by the government, whereas the Chinese media is.
I mean, every media is controlled by states.
No, we have something called a free press. You are wrong.
Free press is within the limits that are set by the state. You're free within that limits.
Really, and and I'll take another minute because this is fascinating. Then we'll move on to double. And if you're in the audience, come up. So, what limits do the United States have on their press? I'd love to know. Give me one. Give me a limit that the United States government has on its press.
Like not reporting on the state atrocities.
I'm not aware that the United States government tells the press not to report on their atrocities.
Of course they do.
And by the way, what atrocities are you referring to? Can you name one?
Oh, many, actually.
I'll take one since you can name many.
Palestine.
Name one. What?
Palestine being the latest atrocities.
I'm sorry, Palestine what?
The atrocities that the U.S. government has been committing on Palestinian people.
Oh, you mean that go on halfway across the world and not on United States soil? All right, fair enough. And give me one example of where the United States government told a news organization don't report on that. Give me one example.
Do you see the reportings on?
Doesn't matter whether or not I saw it. Just say it. Give me one example of where the United States government told a newspaper or a news organization, "Do not report this."
Because they're not reporting. It's apparent, right?
It's the last time I'm going to ask. Can you give me one example of when the United States government told a news organization, "Do not report this"?
What do you mean by example?
Okay, you know what? I'll come back to you. Thank you. Go on mute. I've asked 3 times. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's not a problem. Go on mute. Please, I want to be very clear. Please go on mute, and we will come back to you. I promise. Thank you. Double. Hi, Double. Hi, Double. Going once.
Sorry, I'm here.
That's
How are you, Uncle Steve? My favorite uncle.
Do you care?
I do care greatly.
I was a little frustrated with people who I have to ask the same question 3 times and don't give me a straight answer. Other than that, I'm doing great.
I'm going to be as straight with you as I possibly can.
I love that. What's the shortest distance between 2 points?
Straight line.
Thank you.
Nice. Well, yeah. What did you guys think of what I had to say in the critical thinking?
People remember what you had to
It's
say,
fine
Double
with me.
Agent?
I think that's fine. I mean,
go ahead. Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, I think what you said is fine. I think I celebrate Trump's turnaround on this. I think it's just so hard to take him when you just do such a 180. When you go from Zelensky's the aggressor, he started the war, we shouldn't give him more missiles because he's the antagonist, to he can get back all of Ukraine, he can win the war. I mean, it's just so bizarre. It's great. It's a good turn of events. Like, it just makes me wonder how to interpret the rest of the shit he said. And then, again, like Steve contextualized it. My good friend Steve said it. He said, the guy just has crazy shit flying around his head, and sometimes he just puts it out there. And I think we have to adjust and say, look, normally we have a certain standard of communication for the leader of the free world, and that's not what goes on here. And we just have to, we just have to be willing to, sift through a lot of stuff that might not make a lot of sense. And occasionally some things will be credible and serious. And so, I'm celebrating the fact that Trump seems to have come to his senses and recognize that Putin is the aggressor, which is something the man who never flip-flops seems like he was a flip-flopper, but that's great. I celebrate the flip-flop. I think it's a great day for the country and the free world that Trump has gone back on some of the stuff he said that I thought was quite crazy. Now, if that makes me part of the target of your ire, then guilty as charged.
Oh, and by the way, really quickly, as far as the United States government telling news organizations what not to print, if news organizations or reporter is allowed to go with, say, an Army or a Marine amphibious unit during an assault or an attack, and they're in there, they certainly might say, don't report on our troop movements until after we finish the operation, and I can certainly get behind that. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't have any ire for someone like Q Scott, or of course never for Uncle Steve. But no, I think the point I was trying to make is people are kind of analyzing it like, oh, he said this and now he's saying that, and Trump's either an idiot or he was wrong or whatever. But it's like, it's pretty clear what his goal is. His goal is to get the war to stop. He didn't start. I think he's right when he always says, I didn't start this. He at least likes to think this wouldn't happen if he had been president. I think even Putin, well, you can't trust anything Putin says, but Putin, at least stroking Trump's ego, has said that.
I can't trust anything Trump says.
Right, yeah, well, that's fair. And I'm saying you shouldn't actually pay attention to the literal words coming out of Trump's mouth he is trying to negotiate. What do you do if you're like, you want someone who's an alcoholic in your family to stop drinking? Is like, well, let me try this. What if I try nicely? I tell you not to, and then you keep doing it. Oh, how about if I try to punish you in some way or deny you something? Stop giving you support. Will that help? How about if I tell tell someone you care about that I do an intervention? It's like you keep changing what your tactics to see, can I finally accomplish my goal of getting this person to stop drinking or not? And I think that's what we're seeing. He's just changing tactics because it's clear. First, Biden,
the same scenarios where they're all
funneling
weapons,
money and weapons to Ukraine for how many years.
But from the first time,
didn't
when
seem to be
Trump,
changing
right?
much.
This guy that Charlie was not on the same level as Trump. As
relieve the pressure and do negotiation. He even not so long ago flew. He hosted Vladimir Putin, probably against international law. Hosted Vladimir Putin in Alaska and had a conference with him in person, and sent him on his merry way.
What's against the law about it? We had a
I believe there's some international.
Hello. We had a summit in Alaska, I think, about 50 years ago.
Right. I think what's against the law about it is, according to some international court or other, there's a warrant for Putin's arrest if he shows up on the soil of whatever countries that they're supposed to arrest him immediately.
Real fast, before we lose this thread, I just want to say, I think your analogy is you're trying to get someone to stop drinking the alcohol, and you try this carrot, you try this stick. I think here the analogy is there's two brothers living in the house, right? One's an alcoholic, one is not. And the alcoholic comes in and beats up the other brother all the time, steals his stuff, harasses the brother. And it would be like the older brother's the alcoholic and the younger brother's the sober one. It would be like they're saying for months that the younger brother's really the alcoholic and the older brother doesn't have the problem. And then all of a sudden you change and say, okay, yeah, the older brother does have the problem. The younger one is sober. That's the analogy. I don't think it's I think it's just a very curious.
If I was going to run with your analogy, it would be like telling him, yeah, I realize your younger brother is driving you to drink, and he's to blame for a lot of your problems. And so, yeah, I agree with you. But hey, can you stop drinking? And then he doesn't stop drinking. So eventually you're like, no, you're just a dick to your younger brother. I think that would be a better way to take your analogy.
Double. Why don't you take a minute and finish up? We'll move on.
Yeah, but anyway, my point is, it's not worth overanalyzing Trump's consistency or whatever. He's trying to negotiate with one person, and all this stuff of like right and wrong or whatever. He's just trying to. He's throwing things at the wall to see what sticks, and I think we should applaud him for trying different things. What else are you going to do? He only has to convince one person, and that one person is very stubborn. And you don't have that many tools to use against a person who has nuclear weapons. So it is what it is.
You're welcome. Let's say hello to Adeline. Hi, Adeline.
Hey, thank you.
You're welcome.
Lots of interesting, relevant stuff is coming up here, which is great. I just wanted to ask about. I'm an investor, and my concern. So November 1st in my world is what I'm calling the big reveal. It's not really what I call this big reveal. I'm talking healthcare, folks. The big reveal. November 1st, the ACA prices come out on healthcare.gov. And my big concern is that I know it's been in the news, not enough, but it's been out there that the subsidies are going down and the prices are going up. Who knows whether insurance is pulling out or whatever, too. That's going to strain a lot of people. Some won't have health care, will go bankrupt. Prices will be taking money out of pockets. Economics, it's already, the top 10%, I think, control spending responsible for about 50% of the spending right now. So what I'm wondering is, this is just another straw on the back. I'm wondering what perspective is, what the outlook is, because I don't hear people taking this is a big thing. And it's coming out in November, maybe because the numbers haven't come out, I don't know. But I want to know what some thoughts are with economics, given the upcoming healthcare situation for 26.
Thank you. What I would encourage you to do is to come back on the show either Saturday or Sunday. We have Saturday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Ask Uncle Steve. We have Sunday at 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Ask the Atheist. That is clearly a healthcare issue. Right now, we are talking about whether or not the United States should get tough on Russia and or China and or foreign affairs. I would love to talk healthcare with you. I love it, insurance, the whole ball of wax. But I think we should shelve that one until the weekend. Would you like to contribute anything to foreign affairs, or are you good for now?
All I can say there, it's more of a inside the box comment where I'm a volunteer with Ukrainian for language training, and I help teach the teachers how to do it.
That's amazing. When was the last time you were in Ukraine?
I was never in Ukraine. I would love to see Ukraine because it does, well, it used to be.
When was the last time you communicated with somebody in Ukraine?
About 2 days ago.
And how are they? How are their spirits?
They're depressed. They're fighting.
I'm not surprised.
Battle with depression. There's an issue.
What do they think of the United States? Are we the good guy, the bad guy, or something in between?
I would say exasperated is the best word I could come up with for one word. The expectations are for more help, and also the kind of help they listen to what Zelensky requests, the type of missiles, and then they're not given, and then there's a really long wait.
So if I understand correctly, we're not really the good guy, we're not really the bad guy. We are just a source of money and missiles and weapons, and they want more, right?
Well, it's sort of like we're auntie. You expect more from auntie or uncle, somebody, big brother, or somebody who's capable, but they're not quite doing what you'd expect.
Enough.
Yeah. It's like that.
Yeah, they need more than 200 billion. That's not enough. I get it. Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's also in the devil's in the details. It's what they've been given, what they've not been given. They want more, so they gave them long range, but they didn't. They limited the ability to use it.
Mm-hmm.
When they did give them the long range, there was a rule, a restriction, and that was very frustrating. So that's an example of like they got a lot and it was expensive, but then they weren't allowed to do it only so far.
It's not enough to get a whole bunch of weapons. You got to be able to use those weapons any way you want, right?
Well, or more so.
Yeah, more so. Exactly. I agree. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, please come on the weekend. I'd be happy to talk about that or anything else you want to. But
sure. Well, with the healthcare, I was trying to tie that into the total picture economically.
Go for it.
It's too big a question, and this is big enough question. So, and this is very interesting. I could tell you what the Ukrainians would say.
What would the Ukrainians say?
Give us the bomb.
Exactly. That's what I said. That's what I said. Give us those. We need more.
Yeah, you're right.
Of course.
They're very clever in what they say.
Yeah.
It's not hard to understand. They're pretty good.
I know. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's go to Anson. Hi, Anson.
Well, after the critical thinking, I made my comments.
Yes, I listened. I heard every word.
Okay, good. And after that, I watched Brett Baer's interview with Zelensky. And of course, Zelensky is ecstatic because Trump has now indicated that the objective of the war should be a Russian retreat from any and all Ukrainian territory, including Crimea. We can have this argument or discussion based upon Trump and all of his Trump.
What's the argument?
Well, the argument is why doesn't Trump do something to end the war?
Such as what you said is put boots on the ground?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I don't want that. I absolutely
fine.
Don't.
That's good. See, we can have that debate. But I made the assertion that this war is not going to end until it's won on the battleground.
Yeah,
it's not going to be won by just economic pressure and certainly not by diplomatic pressure. It's going to be won on the battlefield.
It's been going on about a year and a half now.
A year and a half, Steve? It's been 20 fucking years already.
War in Ukraine. How long has it been going on for?
Almost 4 years.
4 years. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
3.5 years.
3.5 years.
It's got to be won now on the battlefield.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, good.
It doesn't have to be one now.
Okay, all
It's
right.
been going on. It's been going on 3.5, 4 years. It can go on another 3.5, 4 years.
Fine. If that's what you want to do.
No, I didn't say that's what I want. I said that's what could happen.
That's what could happen until But if that's what it's what the American people want. It's
I don't think so.
Wait a minute, Steve. It should be what is in the best interests of the United States.
Really? Do you think the American people want American soldiers putting boots on the ground in Ukraine? Is that what the American people want?
No, of course not. Of course not.
Well, okay. Well, there you go.
I made that point. The American people, if they are faced with what needs to be done to win the war, the American people are not, and nor the Europeans, ready to suffer the backflow, the consequence on the global economy, on oil prices, on you name it. They are not ready to suffer the consequences of winning the war. Therefore, why have a discussion about what's it going to take to win the war?
Because you want to talk about it.
No, I don't want to talk about it. I've already given you my conclusions on what it would take to win the war, and I concluded that under the current circumstances, for America to go to war or to even think about doing something to help an ally to win the war that is going to cause blowback to the United States. The American people are incapable.
We've already been doing that. We've already been doing that to the tune of over $200 billion.
And the argument is about Trump. And what's he going to do next? And he's delusional.
What have we gotten in return for our $200 billion?
A stalemate.
I would argue nothing. A stalemate, okay, nothing.
We got a stalemate. Russia has not taken over Ukraine, and we have a stalemate on our hands, and we've had it for ever since the first month of the war, when we thought it was going to be a cakewalk for the Russians. So if all you want is a stalemate, if all American people want is a stalemate, it's Ukrainians' problem. We'll give them some money. We'll give them some missiles. That's all we want to do. And Europe says the same thing. And if Russia makes a mistake and flies a jet into our territory, we're not going to shoot it down. Fine. That's the decline of the West. It's been going on for 25 years. We don't want to arrest that decline in the West. Then we can just continue to sink down into mediocrity with little or no influence of what's going on in the world. Just give it up, let somebody else take charge, and we'll release oil reserves from our strategic reserve to keep gas prices in place so that we can win the midterm or the next presidential election, which is the kind of bullshit that goes on in American politics all the time, along with all the anti-Trump rhetoric. And, we just don't have the guts to do what it's going to take to win. So
and what does that put boots on the ground? What does that put boots on the ground?
Absolutely. I said, if you want to start.
What do you mean we don't have the guts? Why should we
Wait a minute, Steve.
Why don't you wait a minute? What is in the advantage? What advantage is it of the United States to put American soldiers on the ground in Ukraine? How does that benefit the United States? Well, maybe it's something that everybody should think about. Hi, JCC. JCC, are you there, brah? Oh, Anson, maybe you have an answer for me. Okay, I guess you don't. JCC, are you there? Scott Jones, are you there?
Yeah, I want to...
What advantage is it to the United States to have American soldiers fighting in Ukraine?
Yeah, I don't think there's an advantage. I think that the advantage is the proxy war, right? I mean, I think when you can take an adversary like Russia and counter its interests by supplying Ukraine, right, and supplying and endorsing Ukraine, bloodying the Russian nose, as long as they want to do that, right? I mean, no, of course they don't want to force Ukraine to do that. There's an advantage to that, right? I think that there's and the other thing is that I think, like, I always want to say, my good friend Anson says that somehow it's a problem there's water airing for Trump. It's fascinating. We can do two things at once, right? We can say, hey, this is a good turn of events, and then talk in earnest about what it would take to be serious about backing Ukraine, as Anson was saying. And we can also point out in a democracy that Trump's decision-making processes seem to be crazy and that he's unreliable. And all these things can be done in democracy at once, right? I mean, like, it's almost like Yancey's implying that it's un-American or somehow counterproductive to critique the leader and to critique the president. No, it sounds like he's saying the leader, right? I mean, like, oh my gosh, this becomes some sort of problem if we are critical of the president, and a president that is clearly outside the norms on a tremendous amount of business.
Yeah, I mean, he's right. If we really wanted to stop the war, we could send 50 to 100,000 troops over there, and we could kill everybody. I guess we could do that. Drop a couple of missiles or whatever. Yeah, we could stop it. Bunker buster, Steve. I mean, bunker buster. Yeah, exactly.
I said I never knew before I was pregnant. It goes right in the bunker, Uncle Steve. I'll tell you what, Uncle Steve's got a nice bunker over there in the valley.
Exactly. Now, see, where we are obligated is NATO. What are there? 22 NATO countries, give or take. If any of them are attacked, we are obligated to put boots on the ground. Period. End of story. We are obligated under the NATO treaty, the United States, to come to the defense of NATO. 22 countries. And notice how none of them are contributing anywhere close to $200 billion to Ukraine. You know, what are we getting back? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think
we're getting back something. I just don't know what it is. But,
I think we get back support of Ukraine, right, is we get to check an adversary that wants to, that I think would like to run roughshod over part of Europe and be a force for illiberal and undemocratic interests in the world, right? I mean, so I think what the advantage of supplying Ukraine is, here's an emerging democracy that has, interests counter to our adversary, and I think that's. I think Trump's perspective has been before this. That's not really our problem. It's sort of like a mob boss saying to another mob boss, well, that's his part of the story. We don't really mess around with that. That's his. And I think pleasantly surprising, there's a change in the rhetoric, right? That actually, Trump seems to recognize that there's been some sort of violation here of international norms. And it's remarkable. What's happened today. Again, but I think we can say, and ought to be able to say, and not be accused of some sort of Trump derangement syndrome or being un-American or counterproductive, to say that we're happy that he has made the statement, and also confused at what the logic has been for the past year when he's been saying Zelensky started the war and should quit, that Zelensky was the aggressor and morally in the wrong. I think it's okay to say, wow, this is really confusing.
I'm not in favor of coup d'etats. I'm not in favor of Russia taking over Ukraine, but I'm definitely not in favor of flag-draped coffins of American soldiers coming back from Ukraine on the nightly news. That, to me, is just
that's you and most Americans, Steve. I don't know.
Fine. Yeah.
I think that a couple decades in the Middle East, those misadventures have certainly made your sentiment popular.
I'm very close to saying this is not our problem.
See, I think it is. I think. Well, again, as you point out, he flew for 12. He was in Estonian airspace. I mean, he's doing a lot of things that they by treaty they could become our problem, right? I mean, I don't think. I think Putin is our problem already.
Yeah, but NATO is our problem. NATO is our problem. Hey, John Malincrot. Hi. How are you?
Good. Fine.
You're in the background a lot. I don't know if you know that. Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second.
Sure.
Yeah, I heard you, Steve. I just couldn't respond, sir.
No, that's okay, JCC. No problem. Malincrot, maybe it's just a switch or whatever. I don't know. Okay. JC will wait for John to fix his switches. JCC, want to contribute?
I've got really nothing right now. Oh, that's
okay.
You sound great, John.
John, you sound great. That's amazing. Yeah, go ahead, John.
Well, I was just going to say, as I said in the chat, the choice, I think you're framing the choices between flag draped coffins and letting Putin win, and it is important. It seems to me it's very, very much in our interest to have Putin have the shit beat out of him. And Ukraine is a great vehicle for doing that. In normal times, we would do whatever was required for Ukraine to beat the shit out of him. But these are not normal times for a perfectly obvious reason.
Yes. Thank you, John. That's a good point. We're going to go to the top of the hour, and if anybody wants to come up, please do. Let's see. David, did you want to contribute?
I'm enjoying the conversation. Thank you. I'm good right now.
Thank you. Back to, is it Adeline?
Yeah, I think the idea is that even if we don't give a crap about Ukraine, we still need to respond to the Russia bullying because we're next. That's the point.
I don't think we're next. I don't think anybody's coming onto our soil.
Well, that's the difference. See, that the underlying assumption that has to be cleared up. But there's a lot of thought. The underlying assumption is that his, bring back the USSR. What other countries were part of that? Some of them I think are now NATO. So that has always been the mission.
Some of them are NATO, yes.
And so that's going to be, so they're going to be a lot stronger after they take Ukraine, a lot stronger. I mean, they might not do anything for the first minute. They're going to gather. It's like a snowball coming down the hill, getting bigger. Just get it while it's still up high. That's the kind of, but again, that's the underlying assumption. Without that assumption, I agree with you. But with the assumption that the motivation goes further, then it's a different story. It's a different game.
Thank you. David, you're next. David.
Yes, I'm here. Yeah. I definitely don't want to see American troops on the ground in Russia at all. I definitely don't want to see that. That being said Trump really cares about his image. He wants to be liked. He wants to be thanked as a badass. One thing that he could have done that I would have raised a Trump flag, and as much as I hate the guy, I would have put a Trump flag outside my house if he did this. If he took out Putin when Putin was on American soil not too long ago, I think he would have gotten so much credit worldwide if he did that, and so much respect. I think he should have done it.
He should have done what? I want to make sure I heard you. He should have done what?
He should have taken out Putin when Putin was on the U.S. soil.
That's what I thought he said. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and yes, how would the rest of Russia react? I don't know. I actually don't think they would have. I don't know. I mean, it's hard.
You don't know. You're calling for the assassination of the leader of Russia. It might result in a nuclear strike on an American city, you fucking idiot.
They're being sent off to die in this war.
And you think any other
Bye New York, bye Chicago, bye LA. It was good while it lasted. Take care now.
Technical risk ought to be worth the habit. That's fine. And this thing, and here's why. I know there's the whole laws of war. We shouldn't murder the leaders in charge. why the fuck not? Why were we?
Yeah, why not? Why not start World War III so we can all die? Yeah, good idea. Good one, Uncle Steve.
It's a complete messed up system. And the
End of the world, everybody, cheers!
Their citizens to go off to die. That's my theory on it. And you know what? I think Trump would gain a lot of respect if he did that. Not just that, I think that would be the right thing to do personally.
I'm flabbergasted. I don't know what to say to that. Wow.
You don't know what to say, Steve? It's your room. You're curating hate speech
War.
and end of the
What's it
war.
good for?
End of the World War.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
actually, JCC, I was thinking about that. War or the world is a business bill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of one of those two. Yeah.
Well, Z, we've tried to invite you up. Your hand is still up. You're welcome to come on up. And Tony, I gave you an invite.
David is in favor of Donald Trump assassinating.
Maybe they should have a speech on the college campus. I'm sorry, is that too soon?
Hi, Z. Hello, Z.
Hey there. I think I pressed the button by accident, but I did want to say that after David spoke, what popped into my big beautiful brain was, this ridiculous is, Putin and Trump, put them in the ring together and let them pick their weapons and whatever. But I don't like sending young people to war either. And,
Thunderdome. 2 men enter, 1 man leave.
Well, and that's true. For real though, I did sit with people who I sat with people who came back from Vietnam, and I don't even know what to say about it. So, and that will forever be in my mind, and I never want to see anything like that happen again. And so I agree. I don't think that shooting world leaders, I can't really speak to that, but I think it is insane that all these different people do go to war and get killed for crazy people who are, running these different countries. And in the past, I really thought that our country was something different and special. And I'm not saying that it's not, but it's turned into something else that is scaring the crap out of me and making me very uncomfortable. And so I just, I don't have anything else really to say. I was never really into political conversation because I mostly just looked at pictures and read little clips from magazines. I really didn't read or pay attention to, didn't really understand what was going on, guys. So it's, now I do, and it's frightening. And thank you for having me on stage.
You are. It's my pleasure. War is not romantic. War is messy. War is disgusting. And again, I never served. But you ask anybody that's ever been, that's ever seen action, it's not what you imagine it. It's war is a nasty, ugly business. We're going to end in 12 minutes. I can play a clip about war, but I don't know if people want to hear clips. So if anybody wants to speak, go ahead. Otherwise, I will play the clip.
I did just want to say hi, Steve.
Hi, Violet. It's good to see you. How are you, sweetheart?
Doing okay this evening. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, thanks. We're just coming down to the very end. We started this at
I heard the 12-minute thing, so just wanted to say hi.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Well, Reverend Scott, should I play the end of the movie Coming Home, the John Voight speech? I don't know if you know that.
Why not? Why the hell not?
Okay. I believe both Jane Fonda and John Voight won Best Actor Best Actress for the movie Coming Home. This movie takes place right after John Voight comes back from Vietnam and he's paralyzed. And at the end, he is the alternative speaker at a military rally to try and recruit people to join the American military. So this is his famous speech at the end of the movie. It's about 4 minutes, so we'll come right back.
You know, you want to be a part of it and patriotic and go out and get your licks in with the US of A. And when you get over there, it's a totally different situation. I mean, you grow up real quick because all you're seeing is a lot of death. Once I was a soldier, I fought on foreign sands for you. Once I was a hunter. I know some of you guys can look at the uniform man and you're going to look at old films and you're going to think about the glory of other wars and think about some big patriotic feeling and go off and fight this turkey too. Soon I'll be in love. To tell you I was just alive. Sometimes
Good one, Steve.
All this gaslighting bullshit they do. It's right there, clear as day. But it was also clear as day if you had fucking eyes and a brain, because it was obviously happening in real time. And the frustrating thing is those of us like myself who were screaming about it until we were blue in the face were just told we're crazy. Oh, you're crazy. You're crazy. What are you talking about? And now nobody is ever going to come back and say, hey, it looks like you were right. No.
How can you put that, whatever you're reading from, can you put that link?
Yeah.
Please? Cool. That's a big deal.
I put it in there.
Aaron just put it in the chat. I mean, dude, like, we knew this was happening, but now we have it direct from Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg admitted it. We have it direct Google now. Okay? Like, what more evidence do we need? The people that pretend it never happened are delusional. Actually, they're acting in bad faith.
Yeah, but Hoddle,
intentionally trying to manipulate the gas.
Now that it's a fact that it happened, it's not a big deal, and everyone's in it. And,
both sides do it. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel was off there for 3 days, Mohan.
Dude,
both sides do it.
He was off the air because the syndicators refused to syndicate it. But
Sinclair is still refusing to syndicate it, by the way.
He's
gonna come back.
Go down by half.
Yeah. He's gonna come back, but Sinclair is still refusing to syndicate it. I think it's because Sinclair is a Jewish-owned company, and Charlie Kirk was fairly beloved in Israel. I think that's the reason. Because the Sinclair family seems very upset about it. Disproportionately so.
What do you reckon Kimmel opens with when he's back on air first time?
He's going to give some mealy-mouth apology, which isn't an actual apology. Everybody knows what he's going to do. And then he's going to get a big applause for standing up to Trump. It's going to be incredibly cringe. You can predict it very easily.
funniest thing about this is if this didn't happen, they probably were going to cancel him this year because they lose like $40 million a year on his show. But they're going to keep him around just long enough to try to prove a point, which means they're just going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars for no reason.
Well, that's why I thought it was a tactical error, Mohan, because I was like, Kimmel would have been removed from the air in 6 months without anybody lifting a finger.
What his key demo Nielsen rating is? Oh.
Less than 140,000 people tune into the show.
Yeah,
I have been on. Yeah, I have been on Bitcoin podcasts with higher viewership than that. I'm more famous than Jimmy Kimmel.
Dude, when you put out I was gonna say when you put out a tweet, more people read it than watch Jimmy Kimmel. In the key demo.
I know. Isn't that wild? But yeah, man, that's listen, so like now that we have it official, we already knew it. I didn't need to be told it. But now that we have it official, I really am not going to take any bullshit from anybody off anything. Not that I was anyway, but like people need to really shut the fuck up. Like really.
Dude, for years I was saying Joe Biden is not the one running the country, he has dementia, and Patrick thought I was being hyperbolic.
Why is it that when we say things, everybody treats us like not that we are not right-wing reactionaries, because we are right-wing reactionaries, but like, why do they treat us as if we're just, everything's like a hyperbolic reality, like we're taking everything in bad faith? Is it because they're hyperbolic reactioning everything in bad faith?
No, it's because they're sheeple. Also, I'm liberal as fuck.
It's because they have to admit they are.
There's a good number of people, and I'm not saying this is Patrick, who process conclusions not based on the validity of how you derive them, but based off of what their friends will think about them if they hold that conclusion.
Yes, that's like, I'd say the majority of people, unfortunately.
And so you can describe with like empirical syllogisms every step of the way to a conclusion, and at the very end of the conclusion, they'll just think, will my friends dislike me if I hold this conclusion, and then they won't care about anything else.
Well, my entire Twitter feed is Dennis Porter hate. That's kind of amazing.
Dude, I don't know why, but fucking I forget this like mid-tier Republican had Nick Fuentes on. I forget his name, Dan Bongino, or not Dan Bongino, one of these like guys. And yeah, Nick Fuentes is kind of a retard. Let me reframe that. I don't think he's unintelligent. I think he's evil. And if someone were to shoot someone, it's crazy that they shot Charlie.
You fish, my entire feed is also Dennis Porter hate, and I've come to realize that was the massive breaking news that's bullish for Bitcoin.
Let's go.
Let me finish because I'll look up the name of the podcast, but Nick Fuentes spent 40 minutes talking about how he was a victim because when he was 19, people started canceling him for the opinion that having mixed-race marriages is immoral and a form of degeneracy, and that anyone who marries outside of their race is a moral degenerate and should be looked down on. And then he spent half an hour talking about how he was a victim because people started ostracizing him from the right movement for that opinion of, literally being a racist.
Yeah, what's his beef with mixed race marriages?
It's moral degeneracy. Don't you know this? Everyone knows this. That's and if you criticize him
for the opinion that he holds and don't want to hire him over that, that's just Jewish propaganda and cancel culture. And it's all these women. Apparently, Nick Fuentes, when he was 19, tried to hit on girls, and then they'd hang out with him. And then he would say mixed race dating is degeneracy, and if you have a child with someone with a different race, you're a moral degenerate. And they recorded him saying that, and then made sure that no one in right-wing media hired him. And that's apparently cancel culture going too far.
But what is his beef with like genetic diversity optimization?
You can you can ask him. You're more than welcome. I listened to him for like 45 minutes explain it, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to listen to him more, but that's seems to be a very appropriate step for ostracization from wanting to hire someone. You know, Nick Fuentes was the one that got Kanye West to say that he loved Hitler. Like, if you actually go back and watch that Alex Jones interview, Nick Fuentes is sitting right next to him. Hey, Jolta, I'm curious on the rank ordering of dweeb to nerd. Is collecting classic comic books more dweeb/nerdy than playing Magic the Gathering? Where does that rank? Am I now become nerdier than you?
Magic is like number one.
Is it? It can't be number one. There's got to be something worse. It's kind of funny. I've been enjoying how much of a filter it is. I was about to go on a date with someone. And I was like, oh, yeah, well, I'm busy Saturday because I'm going to a Magic tournament. And then they stopped talking to me. And I was like, you know what? If that filtered them out, it was going to happen at some point.
Charlie didn't get the benefit.
Please. Not.
You're in a different country.
back then.
Yeah, he was dropping clips. Remember when he said only what was the bitch she talked about?
Oh,
He said,
only Rosie O'Donnell.
only Rosie.
Like say you like a pig with makeup or something, right?
No, she said you called women's dogs pigs, and he said only Look, I actually liked him in like 2016, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's what's important with our politicians is that they're able to like insult people correctly.
People are in her ear. You know, ambition is a hell of a drug. If he marries a man, she's gonna have to sit down and be a trad wife and the cheerleader from the side. If she's tasted blood, she ain't marrying nobody.
She could be Trump's side piece. It's okay. We'll find somewhere for her to go.
Cut the shit. Melania is not having that.
I'm sure he's tired of Melania. I think Melania be okay with that. He's tired of that motherfucker.
Yeah. Melania only comes for paid appearances.
And Melania's like, yo, when are you gonna die? What the fuck? Hurry up.
Mel, what's wrong with you tonight? What's going on?
I'm just saying. I can see it in her face.
I think you need to take a nap.
Melania's like, I can't deal with this old wrinkly man. That's how her face be looking.
She probably tired of that CPAP machine.
I'm telling you. She's like, I'm tired of sleeping next to that diaper booty. Go over there.
I'm convinced of that side.
She probably be squeezing the cord on the CPAP machine.
She definitely got a side piece. Or she fucking somebody in NYU where her son goes to school at.
She's gonna be the first wife he doesn't divorce.
Your Honor, yes, diaper booty. Doesn't he look like he got a diaper booty?
Who was it? Who said
Trump.
that Erica Kirk should be
Oh, Al Bundy.
I know just,
Al Bundy. Who was Al Bundy's wife?
I've been looking for
Peg, yeah. Al Bundy and Peg at the bottom.
In the time that they were what is that
Peggy,
called?
Peggy, yeah. Peggy and Al Bundy, they in the goo. He got his hand up. He's trying to come up.
Who?
He wants attention. Al Bundy and Peggy.
Okay, so you are probably like. Which one is Peggy?
What you mean? Al is next to his wife is Peggy. Look at his wife.
Oh shit! You playing for real? You really should know. Hey, Your Honor.
What do you think? That these people gonna talk shit and we ain't gonna talk shit? Fuck out of here.
No,
Hello, everybody. Good
Then we
evening.
got Mike P paying Karen.
You
trying to dox me?
Somebody mute her mic. What's happening?
Let that woman speak.
Sir, I got a bunch of people that you gave that information to. They were on my stage, sir. I got.
Why are you bringing this back? What is happening?
No, because I can't stand people that got color and they play the Karen role. They male Karen.
Sorry, ma'am. I play
Yes,
all the time.
you too. I could deal with you sometime. What's a male Karen? When y'all get the name for me, I will call these men Karen.
Kevin.
Tired of these motherfuckers.
Hey, Trent.
No, it's not Kevin. It's not Kevin.
Nah, Kevin is not a good name. Karen?
Okay,
I got a name. Bitch ass niggas.
Oh my God. You know what? Y'all are crazy. I really want to hear. So, does anybody have the Trump UN? They said he overspoke the time and everything.
I don't know.
They said it was embarrassing. Oh shoot! I just got a alert. Oh my gosh, she back on the app.
Who?
Y'all remember Indira?
Oh, wow.
I remember that name.
Oh, now you want to talk about a black female?
Ooh, when I went to go curse her out the other day, but she got away
You know,
before I could.
culturally, yeah. She's a special one.
One of my
Yeah. Seem like a Candace on the app.
Cretaceous.
And so arrogant about it, too.
And then yesterday, Pink Hill and Quinn was arguing in another room. I was like, oh, this is juicy.
Ain't shit endearing about her.
Here, the room is called Open Talk, Conservative and Liberals.
All right, hold on. Open Talk, Conservative.
I heard it. It should be called Diaper Booty.
Oh my God.
I like that. I like Diaper Booty. That's hilarious.
character. Thank you.
Hyperbooty is objectively hilarious. That's what it is.
It may be, but don't
To describe a grown-ass man, I love it. Everything that
Hold on, I don't see that house.
just to make fun of him, I think.
You don't see? It might not be a house. It might just be a regular room.
Oh, that's their title, you mean?
I mean, he does have a hyper booty. You never seen his pants. They be right up under his titties. He had the belt right up under like his titties and the big ass bloomers. He is a terrible looking specimen of a orangutan or whatever he is.
I'm trying to look for the room. Should biracials have their own community? I'm telling you, these people are so bored.
Masculinity mansion. I'm gonna go to.
Why are black men and all black women reparation? Yeah. I don't even see that freaking room. Y'all need to bring the link back. Y'all want me to stream it. Beyond love. I probably don't follow nobody in that room. That's why it's not coming up in always.
Let me see if I can find it. People who were suffering, because people who God was.
Oh, this room is playing her speech, Erica.
I was reading another video that I was born in 1974, so I grew up with European famines. And I remember seeing them on the news, and
that's crazy. I only heard her voice one time. I already could tell his wife's voice. Now somebody got a room saying Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, they're setting up the Christmas stuff at Macy's right now.
I keep trying to tell you, you ain't listening.
Yeah,
The fourth quarter is here. Mel, I sent it to you in your back channel.
Okay. They just want us to waste money.
I was gonna ask y'all, have y'all ever heard about the former Republican candidate called Solomon Pena? Are y'all familiar with him?
No.
Okay, this is kind of interesting. So
Solomon Pena. Oh, Pena.
Pena, P-E-N-A.
I thought you said Pena.
Pena, right? He's a former Republican candidate in New Mexico. He actually ran in 2022 for election, right? He was defeated by a Democrat, and then he got mad and said basically he didn't want to concede. He said that the election was rigged, and he tried to do the Donald Trump thing, basically that he's very MAGA. He's definitely MAGA. And then after that, he got mad and did a series of shootings on Democrats' homes in Albuquerque. Right, so he started doing drive-bys on Democrats. I'm not making this shit up. He started doing drive-bys on Democrats' houses, and they said in one of the scenarios he was orchestrating the drive-bys. I guess he had a Republican hit squad, and then in one of them he actually pulled the trigger himself, but the weapon actually malfunctioned because he fails at everything he fucking does. He was arrested on January 16th. After a police investigation, he faced charges including shooting at occupied dwellings, conspiracy, weapons, and interfering with federally protected activities, voting and such. He was found guilty of all 13 charges brought against him and sentenced to 80 years in prison plus 3 years of supervised release. The judge described his actions as egregious. So this is a guy that actually ran for office as a Republican, very MAGA. You can find pictures of him in all the MAGA gear, and started literally doing drive-by on Democrat houses. But we the ones that they need to be protected from, IU.
Was he a leftist? He sounds like a leftist.
Very right.
He was
Very right.
A trans max, they're right. Must have been a trans.
So we're waiting on Donald Trump to pardon him in this moment, Be very fitting.
80 years and then 3 years supervision.
That sentence is crazy, right? But imagine he's really doing drive-by on Democrat legislators' houses, bro, just because he lost and doesn't want to concede. Like, these are the Republicans that we're saying are nonviolent. Mind you, this happened in 2022, 2023. These are years where there was no Democratic violence. This is just the Republics sliding and knocking shit down. That's some gangster, like gangbanging shit.
These are state charges.
I'll put the link. You can check it out. I don't know if they were state or federal.
Okay, I'll go read it myself as well.
Did he go to jail? Is he in
No, I'm telling you, Spirit, I don't know. I literally don't know. I'm just.
No, I'm talking about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Spyrick is on his spicy.
Yeah, he's spicy. He's angry too. Basically, he got his Snickers. But yeah, he's doing 80 years. He's doing 80 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just had a Trump pardon. I must give him a shot. So, with federal charges,
release him.
That was like he already took a shot.
Supervision after the 80 years. Okay. 3-year supervision.
That was nasty, Yana.
Oh, it's not already. It is already. It is out.
Mike Pussy's on this side of this room.
Put everybody under the bus. It's almost worth me buying it.
I dropped the link in the chat if y'all want to check it out.
No, that's Indira.
Yeah, that's Indira. And Mike Pussy, he just came in the room and was like, "Oh, have you guys read Kamala Harris's book?"
You know what? Mel, we can actually play that clip. You know, Kamala did Good Morning America.
The full one. I only had. Oh, I don't have the whole clip. I just have.
That was pretty long, though. That was pretty good. Let me see. You want me to play?
And then the link, y'all, because you can see him in his MAGA gear, by the way. So he's definitely, yeah, we can't, there's no getting away with this one.
Was he a January 6th?
I don't think he was January 6th.
I'm joking.
He was doing his own shit.
Knowing the Republicans, they're going to say this is a false flag. He was just wearing this to get the right in trouble.
Right. He's in Antifa bought the shirt.
Right.
Yeah,
like the mental gymnastics, the right will do to not take.
Do you care about Bob Dylan, Glass?
Yeah, that most recent movie was so great. It's really worth seeing.
Nice. What if you don't know
I didn't know any of his music, but the movie was good.
Yeah, I knew some of his music. I guess
I feel like
that
you
wasn't
should
really my
appreciate
era,
the music.
but yeah. Or my
I feel like you know the music before you see that kind of movie. So I guess maybe not.
No, but it's just an interesting movie, even if you didn't know it easily.
I guess. Mama yo.
This is Queen, though. You know that, right?
Me?
Yeah.
Or
This is not Bob.
But whoever the head actor was in Bohemian Rhapsody, I mean, he's a very strange looking person.
or whatever.
Yeah, he's a very strange looking person.
Yeah.
But he played Freddie pretty well.
Pretty good enough, though. Yeah.
Who's the guy from America's Got Talent that took over as lead singer and went on tour? People say
Adam Lambert.
Yeah, Adam Lambert. That's who it is.
Yeah.
He sounds great.
The gay guy?
Good compliment.
Yep. That's the one. And I heard it was because he was gay, and so was Freddie Mercury. That's how they could sing the same. Isn't that crazy, Dave?
You know, I know that just found
You know that the gays sing beautifully like angels.
That's why they got on them gay men choruses and whatnot, where they're flashing it up.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the gays men's chorus, Hope, where have you been tonight? I've been around. I've been doing stuff. Okay.
You're spreading the whole.
Oh, that's the Beach Boys. I've been around.
At Penn Station for years.
I was just at Penn Station. They've been there for years. For years, they have a lot of cop presence in Penn Station.
But I'm not talking about
They
the
just
cop.
sit there.
No, they have a lot of them guns.
No, with the bulletproof vests, with the fucking rifles.
Yeah, but I'm talking about soldiers, like the military. Like, I don't know. To me, that matters.
Yeah, they have fatigues on.
No, they do have those. It's not to minimize that experience in Union Station. I'm just saying we've seen them a lot in Penn Station.
All right, we can already play a clip because y'all ain't talking about shit. Nope, not at all.
She's mean.
I can be.
That's all I keep telling y'all.
We're joined now by former Vice President Kamala Harris, who the new book out called 107 Days. That's a nearly day-by-day account of her run for president and the 2024 campaign. Vice President Harris, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Michael. It's good to be with you.
Great to be with you. And we're just going to dive right into it. Because everyone says they have their own theory. But why do you feel or believe that you lost the 2024 presidential election?
Well, I talk about a lot of the factors that I think contributed to the outcome. But the reason I wrote the book is, Michael, it really was an unprecedented election. You think about it, a sitting vice president running for re-election 3.5 months before the election decides not to run. The sitting vice president then takes up the mantle, running against a former president of the United States who had been running for 10 years with 107 days to go. It's unprecedented. It was the closest presidential election in the 21st century. And as history writes about that election, I felt very strongly that I wanted to make sure my voice was present in how that election is discussed and covered as part of American history, and I wanted to make sure my voice would be a part of that.
So did you believe 107 days was enough? Of course you wish you had more time, but do you think it was enough? And if not, do you think that any other Democrat could have pulled it off at 107 days?
It was not enough. I can't predict the outcome. We have lots of stars in our party. I'm sure that there are many people who would have done a great job. I can't predict what the outcome would have been.
Well, there were some Democrats that said that you don't take enough responsibility for the loss. How do you respond to that?
As I say many times in different ways in the book, the buck stopped with me, and I'm clear about that. And there were so many factors. You know, one of the aspects of those 107 days is important to remember as we go forward, is that we have an individual in the White House, the President Trump, who in running for re-election made a lot of promises to the American people that he did not keep. I talk extensively about the fact he said that his main reason for running, and on day one, he was going to bring down prices. And I do believe a lot of people voted for him with that priority in mind. And look at where we are today. Inflation is up. The cost of food is up. Unemployment is up. He did not keep that promise to the American people. And we also need to remember those 107 days around some other stuff that he said. Mass deportations, that he would weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies, that he would silence critics. And he has done that consistently. Mass deportations, you know, somebody told me recently a story about a fellow they were talking with who was a big supporter of President Trump when he was running. He's a Floridian, he's Cuban descent. And he shared the story of how his life partner, his wife, is now in deportation proceedings to be sent to Sudan. And when asked, what happened? Why did you have so much support for him? He said, well, I believed what he said, that he was going to only go after criminals. So part of the reason that I have written this book is for us to remember that there is somebody in the White House right now that made a whole lot of promises that were either about what would aggrandize and help him met out his vengeance, or about lies he told to the American people that he obviously never intended to keep.
And let's talk about somebody who was in the White House with you, yeah. President Biden. I'm saying he believed that he insists that he would have won the race. So when you hear him say that, how does that make you feel?
I think that the reality of it is that for me, I'm not going to predict what didn't happen. The reality is, and listen, I talk about how difficult January 6th was for me of 2024, not to mention 2020.
Yeah.
When I fulfilled my constitutional duty and responsibility as Vice President of the United States and President of the United States Senate to stand there as the former Democratic nominee for president and certify the election. Because I believe very strongly that in spite of all the other nonsense that might be coming out of my former opponent, I was not about to degrade the role of Vice President of the United States around acknowledging a free election and the peaceful transfer of power, which is part of the hallmark of who we have presented ourselves to be as the United States of America.
When you said in the movie, that's the
Yo,
hardest thing
Rock.
you had to do.
Yo,
One of the
Rock.
hardest things I've ever had to do, Michael.
But there are so many people out there who felt that President Biden shouldn't have run for re-election. And you wrote in the book that it was, quote, Joe and Jill's decision, and other Democrats decided it was Joe and Jill's decision. But do you regret not voicing your opinion in that moment?
Yes, and I actually have reflected on that, and I've written about that. I realized
if you did.
I don't know. But I can only take responsibility for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And on reflection, and I talk about it in the context of asking a question of myself, was that grace to not bring it up to him, or was it reckless? And on my part, I do reflect on that and feel that there was a recklessness about not raising it with him. I talk about what was going through my head, right? And what was going through my head to not bring it up was that it would come off as being very self-serving and therefore maybe lack the credibility that it deserved. But I do think about it. And I also say, though, and I speak extensively about this, my concern about him running for re-election was completely separate from my admiration and knowledge about his capacity to serve as President of the United States, which was consistent and never wavered.
Well, as we sit here today, do you think he would have been up for running the country for 4 more years?
Here's the distinction that I make. It's and having had the experience myself, it is one thing to have the capacity to govern. It is another thing to go through an election for President of the United States. So you are an athlete, and you may appreciate this kind of metaphor. Running for President of the United States is like being in a marathon at a sprinter's pace with people throwing tomatoes at you every step you take. It is not for the lighthearted. It takes an incredible amount of endurance and stamina. And can you imagine doing it while you are also carrying literally the weight of the world as being President of the United States? So the distinction I make is about capacity to be president and what that election would require in a campaign, especially running against Donald Trump.
Now, and running against Trump, you had the big debate that we all watched. And you said leading up to that debate, you got a call the day of. And the call from President Biden left you angry and disappointed. What did he say to you?
So he called me, and again, listen, this book, I am being candid in this book about behind the scenes what happened. Mm-hmm. And in a way that I hope is helpful for people to understand what that all was. And part of that call that he made to me the afternoon before the debate was to wish me luck, but also to talk about something that was more in his interest than it was in mine, especially in the context of that time. But let me also say this, that a large part of why this book has been written and why I wrote it is I really want to remind the American people, and there are so many stories I tell about in those 107 days being with tens of thousands of people, Michael, people who seemingly have nothing in common, who had enthusiasm and optimism and hope about the future of our country. And I talk about it now and always. We're living in very dark times. These are troubling times. And I hope and I pray that when people read this book, they will remember the light that they had that cannot be diminished by the outcome of one election or the existence of one individual. That light exists in all of us, and we have to see it in each other and let that propel us through these dark days.
And we see your passion for politics. We see your passion for the country. You ruled out that you run for governor, California.
Correct. That's correct.
Are you ruling out a run, or are you ruling out a run for president in 2028?
I'm not focused on that right now. I'm really not. I'm really excited about my book tour. You know, I'm excited about being out and listening to folks. I think it's important to listen, you know, and elevate people's voices. You know, there's such when I'm out and about, I can't tell you the number of people that come up to me crying.
Well, do you think that writing this book could have burned some bridges, though, that could help you politically?
No, and that's not my intention, and I hope not. You know, if you're talking about the chatter about who I talk about him, but we have nothing but stars as far as I'm concerned in the party, and I talk glowingly about who they are and what they're contributing. And frankly, I think that part of the problem that we have right now in terms of the punditry is to suggest that we are waiting for a Messiah and the Savior and the saving message, instead of saying that we actually have a lot of stars who are doing very good work, pushing back, but also talking about what we stand for. And I think it's time that we also recognize that is counterproductive to keep saying who is the one instead in front of us, how rich we are in terms of talent. And let's support that.
All right, let's support that. We'll see if people will be supporting you if you announce you're going to run in 2028.
Oh my goodness! I just buy the book. Just buy the book.
Well, former Vice President Kamala Harris, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. And yes, go out and buy the book. It is a great read. 107 Days is available now.
It has been 3 weeks since Peregrine.
That was really good.
It was okay. She definitely running.
It was okay.
She's not lying.
Give me some depth. Y'all said
Who said that she's definitely running?
Yeah, she dodged that question
She's running the other direction. Hopefully.
Nah, she gonna run again in 2028. I ain't got no
To the
doubt.
bookstore, guys.
I hope she has better sense than that.
I don't want to see her dragged for this.
I don't want to see no woman running for president.
Oh, y'all don't understand that black woman, that drop in tone. I'm not focused on that. That girl is not thinking about that. She done with y'all. Y'all played in her face.
I agree.
Niggas be thinking they still have the chance. She gonna do. No, she not. She not fooling with y'all. I don't know if she gonna win or not, but I think she definitely gonna put her hat in the race again.
I hope she does not. I think so. That's his opinion. It's okay.
No, she doesn't need.
Let him have his opinion.
No, we're not letting no more people.
She's a great life back.
Her cherry was already popped.
The only thing she's really now? Seriously?
Yeah, her cherry was
Like,
not a virginity cherry. I'm saying that
I got you.
you know she already
Let me say
was
this.
there. She didn't win. She's like,
Let me say this because I definitely was one of the ones that was like, okay, you know, I don't think she should have wrote the book, but like I also said, I feel as though
don't make me read what you actually said today. You read your message that you sent me.
What is this?
Okay. I don't know what the fuck is going on with you tonight. But whatever it is, I need you to throw it in the trash.
It wasn't.
Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me. Go lay down. Go take a nap. So, like I said, you know, I was totally against her writing this book. But after listening to this message, because Mel sent it to me, and I sat and I listened, and I said, well, you know, I always felt as though there was more context than what was being disseminated
right, amongst the airways, because I always know people always want to take your information. They're going to take what you say. They're going to spin it how they want to spin it. And, how she expressed herself today, I think some of the things that people have said in here today, she wanted to tell her side of the story. And that's what she did. She told her side of the story. I still have my own personal opinions when it comes down to it, when it comes down to the Democratic Party and how it might impact moving forward. But again, she spoke with decency and definitely did not put him down in any kind of way. I think she spoke from a politically correct mindset. Thank you for allowing me to share.
First Lady, do you think that anything that she said, because you said, oh, now I've heard her side of the story, like there's like new information or like a revelation. Do you think that anything that she said was new or surprising?
No. It was just the way in how she answered the questions. So, for instance, do you think that he should have ran again? She said, listen, it takes a lot to run. It's one thing to already be the president and have that weight on your shoulders, but then to actually have to still be the president while everything is going crazy and haywire, and you're running against Donald Trump. On top of that, being the president and running, you get tired. So, and to me, that was her way of saying like she's tired,
frustrated,
and old. Come on. But not saying he's tired and old. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
That's some revisionist ass. Come on, like, do you remember how bad that first debate was? That dude was not even.
Oh yeah, well the debate,
like, it wasn't.
The debate is what got him out.
She was.
But what I will say.
Was I not talking, man? What's going on? I didn't even get to a comma, let alone a period.
I thought that was a period.
It did sound like it, but
well, I mean, okay, maybe I took a half a breath or something, but like that was definitely not good. Anyway, my point was this. My point was that like we watched that debate with Joe Biden. That guy wasn't just a little bit off. Like, that was a lot off. Like, and there's no way that just happened to be the one episode that he had during that time. Like, I mean, I don't know, man.
Wait, can I
have trouble hearing that at this point.
Can I add to that, Your Honor? I saw him immediately the day after the debate because he was speaking for the Gay Pride celebration with Elton John the next day in New York. And so I saw him feebly walking up to the stage, not having any real command. Like, he was fine, but he did not have like the gusto or the verve or anything like that to be able to campaign in the last stretch based on what I was seeing. And people were making up shit. I think it was Hunter Biden, like, yeah, he was on, Ambien or something. I'm like, dude, the debate was at night. Was he taking Ambien at 4 p.m.? Like, this is all fucking stupid. And the way they were trying to sugarcoat it, like, he just didn't look good. Like, we have to own it.
So I believe that there were some issues with the way that they represented it. But the reality and the truth is that the president went to the debate after some travel. And he is older. So how the travel affected him should have been in the calculus for how he did that. My issue with it is the way that the Democrats, the so-called Democrats, dragged him around it. And I believe, my belief is that was it. Once the Democrats started doing that, there was no Democrat that was going to win. None, because it totally undermined the Democratic Party as a cohesive, as an anything. And so nobody could win. And Kamala, with all her issues notwithstanding, it didn't matter after that point. Because what should have happened is that the Democrats should have rallied and they should have made legitimate, not dismissed, what was going on with him, but made legitimate excuses for what was going on with him, and not all that kind of bullshit. Because presidents routinely have bad first debates. They routinely, every sitting president who has run for re-election has had a bad first debate. So you contextualize it that way, and you tell the truth about his exhaustion. But I mean, it's like fucked up. But the Democrats are cannibals, and I will never forgive them for how they handled the Biden situation.
Okay, Dr. AJ. The people around him were lying to him. That's the thing. I actually think that Joe Biden cares about the country enough that if people were honest with him about how bad the polling was, I mean, in
I agree.
The Tapper, in the Jake Tapper book, there's they recount, and I'm sure that this came directly from Pelosi, because sometimes they're like, Pelosi thought, right? And so we know that Pelosi is the source. That she, that the dramatic scene of her going to him and saying, this is what the polling is saying. They're saying you have a 5% chance here and a 20% chance here. And it was all new to him. I think if he had really known before that fateful weekend in July that he would have dropped out of the race, but they were telling him that he could win, and he couldn't have.
Yeah, I believe you on that, Kimberly, and I have no argument with that, because that's the way that you handle things. You handle them in private, behind closed doors, and you don't you don't do things that humiliate a person. That's my only thing. I don't disagree with that. And I put a note in the chat that said, when Kamala was saying all her shit, I'm like, yeah, but you should have gone to him. If you had gone to him at an earlier point and laid these things out, then a primary could have been had, or something could have been arranged at the convention. It could have been a little different, even if it was 30 days, 60 days before. So I don't disagree with you, Kimberly. I don't disagree.
I think that's where I am. I'm listening to her, and I love her down, like Kamala Stan, and I'm just like, yes, she should have a voice. Just, it was her experience, write a book and all that. But I'm just really thinking about like winning and the harm things do, and like just jumping on board and getting, what did they say, getting on code, which it seems the other side does much better. And I think that airing these things out publicly, while they may be true, like I just don't know if it's helpful right now. Like, can we just wait till we get some power back to start talking about our counterparts already?
I agree. Now, if she'd have continuously dragged Trump the way she did, because, bringing out the fact, and again, this is the reason why I thought this was a really good clip, because she's reminding the people that's not what you voted for. Okay. And even today, as we sit here 9 months later, we have people shifting, saying, oh, no, that's not what I voted for. And I'm like, you lie. That's not what you were saying during the campaign. That's not what you were saying. You were saying you want reprieve today, and you want everything to go back the way it was, and Trump is going to give you that. And this is what he promised you. So stop.
Yeah, we're also forgetting the run-up to that debate. So the conservatives all day, every day, were saying that this man is half dead. They called him Sleepy Joe. They said that he had some type of brain event. I'm not exactly sure. They highlighted every stumble. They used propaganda in terms of like pictures to make it look like he was this doddering old man who was sundowning. And during the whole time, surrogates and the Democrats were like, these are all lies. This is bull crap. He's going to eviscerate Trump, this, that, and the third. So when the shock of what happened at the debate happened, a lot of people were in terror, myself included. Now, I was going to vote blue no matter what. He could have been comatose. I was going to vote for him. But I legitimately thought he was having a stroke on national TV. I legitimately thought that there may be something to what the maggots are saying. So in my mind, if I, as I'm an anti-Republican and I will vote no matter what is on the blue ticket, are thinking that way, I don't see how many people who are on the fence, we're going to vote, blah, 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 are going to be all that excited to get back on the trail. Now, I agree that you can recover from a bad debate. Like, I recall Obama's first debate was just not that great. But this is something entirely different, and it was a lead up to something. And so you have people believing that President Kankles is the epitome of masculine virility, and this is what is being put up against him. And so in principle, I do believe that Biden's advisors should have nipped his thoughts of presidency in the bud from the get-go. But, hindsight is 2020. It's 2020. I think Biden was a tremendous president, but I also believe that he is a peacetime president. He has no fight. He didn't have what it took to stab the enemy in the political jugular. And that's a fact, and that's what needed to happen. I'm done.
I agree.
Yeah, the other thing is Biden, he went back on his promise because he had promised that he only intended to be a one-term president and that he saw himself as a transitional figure. And that was the whole justification for even choosing Kamala Harris as the running mate, right? This idea of this new, more diverse generation of leadership. So he went back on that promise, but also if it had been sincere from the beginning, I think that they would have had, he said this, you're talking to me about how do y'all know this, but he had said he was going to be a transitional figure when he was running when he was doing the primary in 2019, because initially it didn't look like he was doing that well in the primary, and that was kind of his sales pitch. But the way that Kamala Harris was kind of sidelined as a VP, or not really brought in as much as she should have, if indeed he was planning to transition it all along.
I want to say one thing just about Biden.
Yes.
And I said this on the app at the time. I saw him speak in April of that year, and I went in there expecting to see the man who showed up on the debate stage, and he actually was good. He was good, actually good. And so when that debate happened, I actually thought he was going to kick Trump's ass. I really did, because I saw him. He moved around like an old man. He had that kind of stiff lumbar kind of thing going on. But other than that, he was interacting with the crowd. He was effective. He was playful. He was actually pretty good. I was impressed. So I do think that there's some ability for other people to have had that kind of experience in terms of the people who saw him infrequently. And I do think that there's some people who earnestly felt kind of seems like he's okay, a little, stumbly as an old man, but outside of that, okay. So I just want to throw that out there.
When she said in the GMA interview, and she said in a number of her interviews, emphasizing there's a lot of stars in the Democratic Party. There's a lot of stars. Do y'all agree with that? Do you feel that way?
Say it again. What was the question?
Kind of, sort of.
Yep. I mean,
She said a number of times there's a lot of stars in the Democratic Party. So I'm just wondering how people feel about it.
I believe it, and I'm going to say it regardless.
Oh, sorry. I thought there was another, like that was a colon.
Period.
Period.
No, there's good people, there's stars, but and she's not dumb. She knew what the real question was, right? Do we have that person? And I like her answer about we shouldn't be looking for that person, like, because we shouldn't be a cult. The other side is a cult, and they need that leader. We have a lot of leaders. They just aren't like this super figurehead that we have to follow. And you'll also see they're doing it with like Charlie Kirk, and they just need to be following somebody, a person, a figure. We don't really do that. But it was a good way to avoid answering the question. The real answer to the question is no. We do not have a Trump. We do not have a Charlie Kirk. We don't have any.
I mean, Democrats do that. What's going on? We just didn't have.
Like, catch up. Republicans, they don't care.
What
You
is that
ask them,
saying?
do we have stars? They will drag the bottom of their grandmother's cedar chest for
Whatever
the carcass. Beat her chest and say that person is great. What's going on?
That's a
This
fact.
is the
They'll
problem.
pick somebody from the outhouse.
I'm not
That's why I
talking.
said what I
I'm not talking at all. I guess my mic is broke. You're looking for perfection, and this is how losses are gained. What's going
I
on?
get what you're
It
saying,
doesn't matter if the person's perfect. You put them in the race and you push them. You push them, whatever it is. You get them to jump over the huddle, whatever. You support your person. This integrity and this morality and we're the better whatever, that's what's got us fucked in the game.
But people
Sorry.
wait, Republican voters chose Trump. The establishment people, the RNC people, they did not want him. The Fox News people, they did not want him. They tried to freeze him out. The Trump movement was, unfortunately, like a real quote unquote populist push. And so if we're gonna have somebody, our Trump, we have to have somebody who can do that, who can galvanize, who can draw people in, who has the charisma and the media savvy. I'm not sure if we're seeing that. I don't know. I do like John Ossoff.
Kimberly, don't you think we can get somebody who can do that for 10% of the people, and those 10% of the people can rally enough to convince the other people to come along and join? I mean, it's not like Donald Trump has overwhelming support. He just has his little niche population.
But he has
managed to outnoise the other people. I don't think you have to have that many people. We are. You, whoever is supporting the person, that team just have to be loud.
But he has rabid support, you know?
Yeah. Blind supporters.
He has a cult of personality.
Yeah, and the Democrats are incapable of that because they gonna find.
Which is a good thing, though.
They gonna find the pill at the back of the sweater.
Y'all, wait, 2008 is not that long ago. Barack Obama had rabid support. 60,000, yes, 60,000, 70,000.
Kimberly.
Well, by the time, yes, that's okay. You know what? You're right.
He had to work for it.
Yeah, but Trump
and
didn't.
his supporters did that work and got the other people on board. Come on.
Right, and Trump didn't have that support in the beginning either.
That's my point.
He turned his support into a cult, though. Like, he doesn't have support.
Who fucking cares? I don't care if they join the cult. I want my grandmama, both my grandparents are dead, but I want my niece's grandparents to have their Medicare. Like, I don't care if the people join the cult. I don't have to join the cult. I want Medicare. I want these young children who are disabled and who have intellectual disabilities to have the support that
they need in the schools. That's what I want. I want these women that are out here trying to raise their families. They're decent, hardworking women. I want them to have support. I want them to know that if I only make $250 this month, a check for $350 is in the mail, and I can feed my kids, I can pay my bills, and I can clothe them. That's what I want. I give fuck less.
I'm not
if
saying
they create a cult.
I'm not
I
saying
don't have to be in it. I
I'm
don't
not
have to
saying-
be in the cult.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, to try to find somebody like Trump, you're not about to find that on the Democratic side. You just need to find a good.
We don't need it. We don't want it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. Like, we don't need that.
But in terms of, not in terms of being similar to
Wait,
Trump.
why don't we need it or want it? I'm so sorry.
Thank you, Kimberly. That's what I'm stuck on. That's what I'm
But
doing.
we need just enough. I'm saying I don't need like the mirror image of him on the Democratic side.
Yeah.
That's what
But I think in terms of
I want the enthusiasm, and I want the even blind loyalty. I don't mind that, but I don't want all the bad stuff that comes.
I don't want the blind loyalty either, because like we got to be able to actually have politicians that are able to admit to wrong, and we need them to be held accountable, like, you know, to their voters. Trump is not that. Like, to go completely in the opposite direction isn't a better thing either.
I don't want my politicians.
See, that's that Democrat purity.
Yeah, I
Purity. See,
I said, that's not purity. I'm not asking for
morality and virtue.
I'm not asking for a perfect candidate.
The law.
But you're asking for morality and virtue.
No, I'm not. I just
That's
asked for.
virtuous, though.
I just asked him to not be a cult leader.
I'm okay with the cult. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I'm fucking
That's what I was saying earlier. We need that.
I feel like in terms of the groundswell of support and the genuine enthusiasm and the fervor, I honestly think that that's what Bernie Sanders had in 2016. And I think that it was a really big mistake on the part of the DNC to, like, there's been so much reporting about the DNC bias toward Hillary Clinton. And there was the, you know, leaked
Because he
email.
wasn't in the party.
But Bernie's not a Democrat. What's going on?
Well, he was running in the Democratic primary, and he had a lot of fucking support.
When I skate, I wear my Russian
No,
t-shirt.
but I think
They
the
not
point-
gonna put me on the Olympic
I
team.
think the point Malak is making is that when we're talking about a cult leader, when we're talking about a cult leader, Bernie Bros were that. I would say that definitely.
They were.
And further, Bernie Bros, when their man got silenced by the DNC,
They voted for
they
Trump.
They went for Trump.
Because
They just want some. They just want. They just want a white. They want a white man to follow. Well, you just did, but you know what I mean. They just want somebody to follow.
Bernie had that same kind of energy of like, the system is fucking you and the system needs to change, and like whatever that thing is.
That's called populism. Hello?
Exactly. That gets people riled up, that they can believe in, that they feel like they want to go out and vote, and they had that. And then they did so many things, the DNC, to their way to push Hillary Clinton instead of going with the people. And I think that was a big mistake.
Well, I don't know. Okay, wait a second. Okay, so Bernie has a rabid support for sure. I'm getting caught up when you say instead of going with the people. I believe that Democrats want to vote for Democrats. I understand that Democratic Party ID has waned significantly, like dropped significantly since 2016.
Yeah.
But when I think about Democrats, like people, like honestly, I'm talking about negresses, okay? There is a hump. They would have voted for Bernie for sure, but I do think that it would have been tough to sell to those people that we're gonna go with this person who don't really even care about the party like that.
I hear you, but I think
They say it all black
for
people
me,
live
let me
in
just say
projects.
this.
What the fuck is going on?
For me, from what I see, the way that Democrats win is on turnout. If they can get the voter turnout that they need, they win. If they don't get the voter turnout that they need and people stay home or whatever, they lose. So if you're thinking about who is going to be able to get the most people out to vote in the context of 2016, I think that was Bernie.
Bernie wasn't going to get black women out.
No, he was not going to get black women out there. That's crazy.
No black women was rallying for Bernie.
He did not move black women. And he didn't care about black women.
And
Let's
if
be
he
honest.
didn't get black women, he wasn't going to win. So I don't know with this preoccupation. I don't know with this.
Just because he had a black woman, just because he had a black woman on his team does not mean he was going to get the black vote.
Yeah, the black women.
Do you remember when Simone Sanders was Simone Sanders? I remember getting emails from Simone Sanders because she was his press secretary. Crazy times.
And I didn't really buy into that because Simone gonna go wear her bag.
Oh no, she's just ambitious. Yeah.
She gonna go wear her bag at. So that wasn't an endorsement for me.
But yeah, Bernie repelled black people when he didn't have to.
Exactly.
I have no idea, like, why. And you know what? I began to believe, and I could be wrong, but I began to believe that he is playing into racism as a strategy. And so I understand that he has a rabid base, but that rabid base cannot elect Bernie Sanders on their own. And, the very fact that a sizable number of them would defect to Donald Trump tells me that really that's not our candidate. It's not.
Y'all watching the chat?
Who the hell
I see that.
CNBC?
Yeah.
What's going on in the chat? Let me see. What's happening?
Them Bernie Bros pages were hell back in the.
They want attention, and we're about to give it to them, but they could just
stay focused.
Well, I just asked if it's a security issue.
That whole thing and like all the Bernie Bros.
Oh, so I'm not security. Great.
Security. Let me say this. I didn't like Bernie or Hillary at the time, so I've been
Miss
calling
Lady, I don't
Bernie
want you at the door.
I'm gonna sit down.
So let me just say this. I wasn't for Bernie or Hillary. I was extremely disappointed in that election cycle. But the claim that there was like a ton of Bernie Bros switched over to Trump just isn't borne out by the facts. You can look this up. It's been debunked a lot of times. It's not like substantially more than like other switches that happen between other candidates, like the Hillary voters not voting for Obama, for example. But you can look that up. I do think that there is a lot to be said for candidates who really have like the courage of their convictions generally performing better. There was a study that was done recently. I'd have to look it up, but I'm outside right now. But basically it showed that there's like a 1.2%, if I remember right, bump for being more centrist. But there's actually a larger bump for being like more of a charismatic candidate. Like admittedly, is this perfectly scientific? Like how do you measure charisma is a question that I had when I was reading this. But having the courage of your convictions is a trap. And Democrats have run a lot of people who did not do a good job of showing that they had the courage of their convictions far too often in my lifetime. That we had people like that, and it just doesn't work. And especially now, when there's the opportunity to go so much deeper, and people expect you to do like a long form interview and this kind of stuff, and you can't just say the same thing over and over and over again and win. They need to learn that lesson. I think a lot of the Democrats have some of the more impressive ones, and I think that you can have either like a more progressive take on something, like say a Mike Levin, who won in Orange County, even though he's like very green. And you can win in a place like Orange County as long as you still have the courage of your convictions more broadly. And so I just like we need people with more charisma in that regard. It will work, even if they're like maybe to my right. That's okay, but at least believe what you believe.
How do you feel about Zohan over in New York?
He's a good example of someone who has the courage of their convictions, and it's sexy, and people like it. So he's probably going to win because of it.
I think it was in New York.
This is nuts.
So wait a minute, hold up. So let me ask y'all. So do y'all think that Bernie would have won with the Trump election over Hillary?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Can I tell you why? Because nobody's going to say it, but I can say it. Apart from the fact that he is a self-described democratic socialist, which he didn't have the chance to get beat up in the general election because people don't understand what that actually is, which is not that scary, by the way, which is what New Yorkers are figuring out with Zerwan. But number two, because nobody wants to say it, he's a Jew.
Right.
And America's not going to, yeah, exactly. And I'm sorry.
And number three,
America's not doing that.
Number three, he anti-black. Number three.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, that's fine. That's legit.
I didn't know that.
I'm just saying. Well, I'm just saying she makes a fair point. I just think the Jewish things are non-starter. That's why I don't like even the talk of like, oh, Josh Shapiro should run. It's a non-starter for people. I don't think people understand how much of a non-starter it is.
I don't know. I like John Ossoff a lot.
He may well sneak by because he's from Georgia.
Yeah, I was gonna say he might get a hall pass because he's a Southern Jew. Yeah, he might get a hall pass.
Not a Southern. Oh.
Yeah, he's Southern. He's from the South.
But that makes a difference because you're from the
I think so. In national politics, I would think.
But are we still on that to the point where, as in, given the current climate, people would still be like against vote for a Jewish man?
Now more than ever, I'd say. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm talking about
purse.
Well, so many people talked about the fact that Kamala Harris was even married to a Jewish man. So.
I mean, she mentions it in the book, right? Like that was a big thing. It was a recurring theme that people brought.
It's enough for people on the far right and the far left to rally around. I guarantee you.
But that's the thing, though. Like, I understand the conversation, and I'm hearing what you guys are saying, but we also need to make sure that we understand the party to the right likes to just throw enough mud to just dirty. Trump didn't win because of outstanding numbers. He won because people didn't want to vote. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the other part is, and to Kamala Harris in her interview last night, that was one of the things that she brought up. Like, is she going to have to go on stage and show people her vagina because they're like literally going to say she's not a guy? I mean, I've seen everybody in this room, pretty much everybody in this room, we've debated. How many times do we have to have a stupid debate about how Kamala Harris is actually black? You know, and I think that's the real kind of thing that the next election is going to have to come down to is how do you handle all the mudslinging? How do you handle that the other party can just, Trump, like, what was Trump's platform? He came on stage and said he had concepts of thoughts and fucking an idea of a plan.
End all the wars on day one.
It is so crazy because...
So my answer to that, Thomas, is you don't have a debate about that. That's stupid. And you don't allow people to engage you in that. And you call it out every time. What does that have to do with what is at stake? Right? But there's some kind of investment that people have in securing blackness for certain people. And I think that's more of the problem, right? But I can say I've never had that debate. Never. I didn't engage.
It was so strange. That was brought up.
And I'm
that
very
was never
politically active, just for the record.
But that was never, being black was never a requirement for any of the previous people running for president. It just became this strong requirement for her for some reason. She
They
ain't
had
black.
it for Obama too. Don't forget.
I don't
Was
know.
Obama black enough?
Oh yes, it was.
Remember when they tried to declassify Hawaii as a state?
They were saying he wasn't American and stuff like that.
No,
but they did not say
they had the black thing to go back to
So remember, if you recall, right, you may not, but like I remember when like Obama was actually suffering pretty significantly against Hillary Clinton because like his black card was kind of
the black vote.
Right, exactly, with the black vote specifically. Thank you, Dr. AG. And his black card was kind of being measured against Hillary Clinton's to a certain degree.
Because she was married to Bill who played the saxophone.
No, because of Hillary Clinton's own record.
Record, exactly.
Her own record.
Okay. And it was actually Bill Clinton who kind of got her in trouble when
what we're saying is anybody with dark skin who runs, regardless of all the white presidents we've had, anybody with darker skin, we're gonna say how dark are you before we can vote for you.
Are you listening? Are you listening?
No, I am. But
the race thing.
Go ahead, Kimberly.
Okay, so the race thing, I think, has two things in there. One is, are you a liar, right? I think a lot of it was people being like, can we trust this person? You know, the lying Democrat, she's just a lying, conniving, whatever. There's that. And of course, that's tied to misogyny.
Because Trump is trustworthy.
True. Right. That's the thing, right? But there's already this thing about the Democrats. The Democrats, all they do is lie. And then there's women lie and they manipulate. Okay. But then the other thing is there is this racial identity post first Black president, I think takes on a new meaning. And we get this ADOS thing. We get this FBA thing where people are much more, I always use the word provincial, right? They are much more like, this is mine. Don't try to, you can't take this from me. You're trying to steal my identity from me. And I think a part of that is social media and the internet. And so Kamala is like in the center of this swirl of cultural shit. And there's so many things in that tornado. It was going to be so hard for her to get out of it. You know, people already were like, we had a Black president and he didn't do anything for me. Mm-hmm. And then we have misogyny, and then we have FBA. It was too much.
Yeah, I get that.
And Kimberly, my thing was, when I said to Ron, are you listening? My initial point was, you don't engage at that level. Right? You don't debate another person's Blackness. Like, what is going on? What's happening? What's the investment in doing that? That was my question. And of course, you know, I understand what the investment is, but the question remains.
Doctor, but okay, so I'm pretty masterful when it comes to avoiding certain things, right? But when you have like what she had to go through and what she experienced when it came down to, because even Trump said it on stage, I think during the debate, you know, she's not even Black. He said it at that convention. What was it? The journalist convention, the Black journalist. Yeah, exactly. You know, is she Black? Is she really Black? You know, like, how do you combat something like that?
Why?
You know,
why
you just ignore it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying, do you just ignore it?
So my thing is, he said it. Why is it not about him saying it rather than you proving that it's not true?
Because it was eating into the base of support that she needed to win the election.
So the people are like, maybe she
I'm
is
sorry.
Black.
You know, it was a male voice.
If I can jump in.
Thank you.
If I can just jump in.
So, do you see what I'm saying, First Lady? That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, go ahead, because you can't contain it.
Sorry, no, it's just the fact that on Clubhouse.
No, we don't do that, Thomas. We gotta let people land. Let her finish. You just gonna go ahead and take it. You want a beating? You want a cantata? What is it called? A chocolata? Go ahead.
So do you see what I'm saying? Because once you allow that argument to be your focal point, you're already off the game. You're already behind, right? But what you do is you flip it. Why is he saying that? What does it say about him that that's a point he wants to make? And you let that be your argument. That's all.
I think if she had had more time, there would have been opportunity to flip it and take hold of it. I think that Trump exploited this FBA 8.0 stuff, and they recognized that FBA 8.0's Are You Really Black discourse was eating into the base of support that she needed to win the election.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then they amplified it by agreeing to it and participating in it and being convinced by it.
Thomas, one mic on you, sir.
I mean, I hear what you're saying and I understand. The only problem is that on Clubhouse, it's easy to just, disregard it. But when you have someone of that stature who's deeply flawed and lying, right? I mean, you can't, there's no getting around it. I mean, we tried when they go low, we go high, and yes, we can take the moral high ground, but that shit don't work. It just doesn't work.
Obama flipped it when they were obsessed with Obama's where he was born and whether he was a citizen or not. Obama's team, they flipped it. They were like, "Why is he so obsessed with my nationality and where I was born?"
Right, and the man that started that is now president of the United States. It doesn't work.
But Thomas, this is the thing, though. First of all, I don't debate on Clubhouse, right? I have conversations on Clubhouse. So my comment comes from what I do outside. That's why I prefaced it by saying that I am very politically active, right? So I get it, but the impulse to highlight the other person's flaws, the impulse to be better, that's the thing you have to overcome. Because the priority is to focus people on the thing that's going to help you win. And if you're over here arguing who's the blackest black, all black, everything, you're not amplifying this other thing.
I totally understand that. Like, I really do. The only problem is there has to be, you can't ignore it. At no point, unfortunately, and I hate to say this, there's no ignoring it. There's no,
you
we
have
can't just
ignore it, though.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what we're saying.
No, I never said you ignore it.
We're saying that we need to flip it, right?
Yeah, that's not ignoring it.
That's a strategy.
It is a strategy, but it's a strategy that doesn't work. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not worried. Just because.
All right, one at a time. Let him finish. Wait a minute. Let him finish, because we go ahead. Get it out. Get what you're saying out.
No.
I'm trying to understand.
Because the only thing I'm trying to say is I understand. Okay, cool. We have to flip it. We have to find a way to change the narrative of why this white man is trying to point out this woman's blackness, or any candidate's nationality, race, creed, or whatever they're trying to support. The problem is that the candidate is a liar. And that was said last night with Kamala Harris. Oh, I'm going to lower the bills, but oh, by the way, Kamala Harris isn't black. And it's going to be, and I think the next candidate that's going to come after Trump is just going to be 20 times worse. And that's the problem.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
And Thomas, what you're stuck on is, I'm sorry, I thought you.
No, yeah, he's done. He's done.
What you're stuck on is proving the other person bad, or thinking about how bad they are.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. No, I'm not. Stop, please, putting words in my mouth.
You just said that, though.
I know. I'm trying to say there needs to be another strategy besides trying to take the high road. I'm sorry.
I want to believe with you.
Okay. All right. Communication.
Nobody said the high road. You're misinterpreting what I'm saying for the very reason that I'm saying it. Because the idea that you would not combat this thing head on into an argument that you cannot win. You can't win the argument on is this person black? You can't win that. There's no winning. So what you do is you leverage the question. What does the questioner, what is their investment in that? And how does that serve the country, right? So nobody's saying you ignore. Nobody's saying take the high road, right? It's just a different strategy for engaging around the larger issue that the question itself represents. Because you can't win. You're just going back and forth forever. That's all.
Yeah, Thomas, you said that he's a liar. So it's a waste of resources to try to combat directly what he's saying if we're starting from the framework that he's a liar. It's futile. So you have to come up with a different strategy.
All right, Malak wants to speak. But let me ask y'all this real quick. So are you saying, really what I like is examples, because maybe for, Thomas, I see Brooklyn saying, she definitely sees why Thomas is frustrated. Maybe because the way Dr. A.G. and Janice are structuring it, it's hard to get an idea of what that example could be. So if you ladies could give us like an example, okay, that was said. Now, what do? You're saying to do what? Like, give me an example. Is there an example that you can give?
Well, I named what Obama did as an example, but Thomas jumped to
right. But we got
Trump.
Let's deal with for Trump person.
It's always a two-prong approach. Just like earlier in the conversation, we were talking about how Kamala needed to respond, and I said you do a two-prong approach. She doesn't have to be the one that does the clapback. Okay. You designate, you delegate. You have surrogates that do that. The principal doesn't have to be the one that matches the same energy. She just has to focus on what her strategy is. You have other people that do that. It's all you don't have just one course of action, and your course of action doesn't have to be a reaction. I think that's where we get into problems when we're trying to triage everything.
And it's simple, right? He's over here trying to get y'all to figure out if I'm black. I'm over here trying to keep your companies in the black. What do you have? That's what I'm talking about.
No, that is far.
Just move it, but pivot. You use that.
That's good. That's good. I like that.
But this
have to be strategic and savvy.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure. I'm sorry. I am just so excited. The difficulty is that she inherited these campaign people. And these campaign people who are also on my ship. Okay, sorry. They were prepared to construct a campaign for an 80-something-year-old white man from Delaware. They weren't prepared to construct a campaign, meaning messaging, counter-messaging, op-ed researcher for a Jamaican and Indian woman from California. And so if there were competent strategists, media messengers, then that probably could have happened. It's not happening with Jen O'Malley Dillon as the campaign manager. Like, they just didn't know what to do with her.
Yeah,
I just wanted to say the other thing about it was, and it was genius when Trump did it with the, you're not even really black, was that was a criticism coming from technically Kamala's side with the ADOS and the FBA people. So, it's kind of hard to defend because now you're catching it from one side, but it's honestly a criticism that he just co-opted from your own people. That makes it difficult to combat.
Well, they could have easily anticipated it. I'm sorry. The issue is that anybody who is even vaguely familiar with the internet or these conversations could have seen that coming from a mile away. You don't see it coming from a mile away, I already said why you wouldn't see it. But yes, they just weren't. They weren't prepared with adequate messaging. And she's a woman, right? Like, oh, I'm sorry. My last thing is, it's difficult to compare Harris to Obama because men can do things that women can't do. You know, like I came away from this book liking Harris a lot more with the better understanding of all of the landmines that she was trying to navigate. You want to be strong, but women succeed on the national stage when they are seen as a connector. What was the word? There's like a word for it. You have to be a unifier. You can't be on the attack. You have to be conciliatory, right? Bringing people together. So when you're getting all of these nasty attacks and you don't have infrastructure to counter message effectively, you're just out there. She's just out there, just getting pummeled. Okay.
I was gonna say Mike Donnellan deserves to be on your list of
Your
campaign staffers.
Your Honor, Mike Donnellan, Anita Dunn, all of those people. I'm not gonna cuss them, but yeah, they've been on my shit list for a long time.
Yeah.
Ron Klain, shit list.
And so, absolutely.
I will say though, I do agree about the people around her, because I don't think it's something she should have responded to directly. Like, every black person in the Democratic Party should have been up in arms, straight up.
But that's the thing, we can't never get on code for nothing. Like, we can't stick together. Hello? We got people over here, co-signing what Trump is saying, actually giving him pointers to actually go back and attack her. It's like, come on. Oh, my God. So every time I just think about that whole campaign trail, those 107 days,
so we don't even have to think of the campaign. We can even watch now, right?
Yeah.
This is the thing now. You have all these so-called Democrats running around here saying the Democrats aren't doing anything. When are they going to stand up? When are they going to fight back? Oh my God, look at him. He's doing this. I can't believe it. What is going on? Nobody is above critique, without a doubt. Nobody is above critique. Right? But circling the wagons is a thing that Democrats really need to learn. It's not that hard, and they really need to learn it. They are their own worst enemy. They give their enemy all the ammunition they need to take them down. And until they figure that part out, it's always going to be this back and forth. It's always going to be that.
So,
way.
Doctor, did it ever go
more so normal? My bad.
Oh, Brian wants to speak. Malak never got a chance to get the mic back either. But Doctor, quick question. Is there ever a time where the Democrats, you saw how Mike Johnson and them, he couldn't get his base together, and the Republicans, when it came down to voting and stuff like that, but they kept on meeting, they kept on talking, they kept on communicating, and they left the Democrats out so that they could hash it out because they weren't all on the same board. Do the Democrats have that kind of powwow kind of thing?
See, I will leave a more probably objective response to someone who identifies as a Democrat. As somebody who does not identify as a Democrat, I would say no, the Democrats aren't really capable of doing that kind of thing because their principle is the principle. And they organize around the righteousness of the principle. So they don't want to be seen as the people who are violating. They don't want to be seen as the people who are not doing the virtuous or the moral or the right thing. And I think that, I'm sorry, I think for the past 15 to 20 years, that has been a handicap for the Democrats. But I'm biased, so somebody else may be able to give a more objective answer.
The Democrats.
Or I mean, like I should not say electorally. That didn't make sense. Do we mean like in Congress or out in the world?
In Congress.
Oh.
In Congress.
Because I did read Nancy Pelosi's. Okay, it's been a long year. And Nancy Pelosi.
I like
wasn't
her
really.
book, by the way.
Yes. Yes, and especially I wasn't expecting to even care about. She spent a lot of time on some of that legislation stuff. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Right, but she got it passed. She got the votes. She kept her caucus together, and she talked about how good Harry Reid was at keeping the caucus together, getting people in line. And now that Pelosi, I don't know. We're never gonna get another Nancy Pelosi.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, though, you gotta think, like, once Obama became president, the way the politics work changed. There used to be, you know, different factions within both parties, the Republicans and the Democrats. And the Republicans, when he became president, they just locked in, you know, no matter what, anti-Obama, we don't care. And it continued with Trump, and it's even worse because, like I said, cult of personality. The Democrats still work in, like, you know, that old normal way of politics. So there's going to be disagreements. They may have like legitimate concerns where they're not going to agree with another Democrat, and that's not wrong. Like, that's the way it's supposed to be. However, the way our country is fucked up, so it makes it ineffective.
Mm-hmm. Brian, Young, and Malak, y'all still haven't had a chance to get in there. Brian, Malak, Brian.
I was just going to say to what Dr. A.G. was hitting upon is that adage. I'll say I've heard it for decades that, you know, Democrats fall in love, Republicans fall in line. I've read a lot of Bob Woodward's books, you know, over the Orange one's first, you know, time in office, and I continue to plug his audio book, The Trump Tapes, and it's his interviews with him throughout his first administration, and how it's not just him, but some of, you know, the people around him, and he, you know, after the grab him by the, you know, the video came out, how the Republicans facing the camera were all in line, but behind closed doors, they was like a hair, you know, that close to trying to get him off the ticket. And it just reminds me of, you know, like speaking from my experience in my family, I assume many of us have had this where, like, look, if you don't argue in the streets, let's keep that in-house. You know, they are consistent with a united front, even though they don't like the people that are in their team, but they continue to have a united front. But behind closed doors, they panicking. They trying to, you know, do what they can to get the ones that they know are damaging to them out of the way, off the ticket, out of the party. But then, and you know, I don't like using either absolutes or generalizing all of us. But I will say, I would assume many of us, when we look at Mike Johnson, hell, I call him Bitch McConnell, but that's just my personal grievance. But these cats in front of the camera are all, yeah, everything's great. Hey, tell us about the Republican from Ohio who is, I'm drawing a blank on him, but the one who has some alleged history of turning a blind eye to what the wrestlers at a college.
Jordan.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't remember. One would think I'm in Ohio right now. But anyway, in front of the camera, they're like, everything's great. And that's one of my criticisms, and just grinds my gears with the Democratic leadership or party. This is the references to times past. I take that with a grain of salt. This is uncharted territory, and trying to play fair, trying to play by the rules in a fight when the other side doesn't acknowledge there are rules. In my opinion, I'm not going to say it's a loss, but it definitely makes it harder to win.
But respectfully, Brian, it's not true that there were Republicans who came out and compelled to resign. The current Senate Majority Leader was one of the people who said after the grab 'em by the P thing came out that Trump should step aside and let Pence take the top. But there were other, I wish I could remember other names, but there were other senators. I think that both sides do the thing where we pretend like the other side is so together. No, there's a lot of discord on both sides. Trump basically has bullied like 10 people out of not running for re-election at this point. I think that Trump has a thing where he just will keep plowing ahead no matter what. It's the shamelessness of Trump. It is the, I don't give a fuck, like, yeah, I did say that, but I'm not dropping out. So, it's almost his, actually, I was going to say it was almost his willingness to, bring the party down. But actually, I'm critiquing Biden for that. But, Trump could pull it off, though. He knew he had the support. Oh, that's the big difference between Trump and Biden. Trump had the people. Biden knew by the summer of 2024, or the Biden people knew, I don't know if Biden knew, that they did not have the people. They did not have the average Democratic Party voter anymore.
And I acknowledge, there were, forgive me if I didn't speak on that more vocally. Yeah, I acknowledge during his first term, the orange one, there were Republicans who were like, but I think you said it better. He's a bully, and it's like he doesn't take no for an answer, which is obvious by how many sexual assault convictions against them. But I acknowledge that. I was just saying, simply put, historically it seems consistent that Democrats fall in love and Republicans fall in line, no matter what.
We just need somebody that we would lay down in traffic for.
Because you got to remember, with the first time Trump ran, he said all that crazy stuff about Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz said, I'm not going to endorse Trump. He went up right before the National Convention and said, vote what your heart believe, all this stuff. Then, shortly before the election, he goes and he's like, you know what? Trump had a good list of candidates for, the Supreme Court, and he fell in line. A lot of them, pay that lip service all the way up until, the actual point of where you got to put that, where the rubber meets the road, and then they'll back down with them.
That's a fact.
Well, the thing is that why are we acting like it's a magical thing here? The problem is that when you have propaganda supporting or saying all the nonsensical shit that you're saying and spewing, there's some point where the fact is the power is the people, right? Because those same senators that you were talking about, Kimberly, that didn't want to vote for Jim Jeffers to be Speaker of the House, those same senators got all death threats. And all of a sudden they wanted to stand locked behind Trump, And I think that's the real essence here, is because of the fact that you have someone that spews this nonsensical crap, and then suddenly all his people want to talk lockstep. It's the weirdest thing. When you talk to a lot of Democrats, we have a lot of different ideas about what we should do. But you talk to a Trumpian, their whole ideas are exactly the same, which means that they only get it from one damn source, which is Trump. It's not magical. It's just that's the reason that Russia put in what I think the DOJ exposed, that Russia was paying influencers $100,000 for spreading all the nonsensical BS.
Yeah, Ben Johnson and Tim Pool.
But the ability to do that is magic, though. We have to. Okay, look, I hate Donald Trump. I hate Donald. I know the FBI is listening. I hate Donald Trump. But there is something remarkable about his ability to bring all of these factions together, his ability to, on day one, be like, oh, we're going to invest in the American worker. And then he goes and says, oh, no, corporate tax cut. And then next, labor rights. And then next, we're gutting the NLRB. And then everybody believes the shit. because like he just has the ability to like go from place to place and say whatever people want to hear, and then they believe it. But that's a magic skill. We need a magician.
We don't need a liar in the office, but hold on, because here's the thing. His ability to lie is his what we want to call magic skill, but the truth of the matter of fact is, a lot of it has just been bullshit talking points because he can point to a common enemy. It worked for Adolf Hitler, it worked for every other third party, every third dictator, and it's working for him now. Oh, I'm sorry, your bills are too high. It's because of all these illegal immigrants coming across the border. I'm sorry that your gas is expensive. It's because of all these illegal immigrants. Whatever your problem is, insert X. Right. And it's one of those inserts, whatever your problem is, insert X, and then all of a sudden, here, I'm going to be your, what did he say? I'm going to be your refuge. Whatever crap he pulled out. And the truth of the matter of fact, there's nothing magical about hate. It's just hate. This country is built off of hate. It was built off the backs of our forefathers. It was built off the backs of our relatives. That time they want to erase our fucking history and tell us slavery happened 8,000 years ago, even though I have pictures of my grandfather in bondage. It disgusts me every time. But there's nothing magical about hate. It's just fucking hate. Call it for what it is. We don't need another liar to represent the Democratic Party to tell us that, hey, you know what, we're going to make all your bills magically go away. But there's something that we have to do to combat it. And I'm sorry
What about a finesser? What if we say not a liar per se, but a finesser?
A finesser is just a nicer way of saying a liar.
You guys, I just think...
Can I offer something? Okay. Let me offer something. The reason why Zoran will win and the reason why he won the Democratic primary in New York pretty handily, even though he was not 1, 2, 3, or 4 on my list, is because he had a very simple message. Apart from all the other buzz around him, that he marched with the, pro-Palestinian movement, between all the other stuff, all of his promises, free buses, grocery store, people don't actually give a shit about the grocery store thing, the city-owned grocery store. They don't really like having a fast free bus. It was not on the top tier of the list for New Yorkers. His overall finessed message was affordability, and that rings for pretty much everybody unless you're a fucking Upper East Sider. Like, that resonates. We need somebody who can do that message for America, where it can be, a generic overall message and not even get into like crazy specifics or whatever, because that's exactly what Trump did. I'm gonna make your life better. I'm gonna, lower shit. I'm gonna do whatever. We need somebody who can finesse all this shit and also have the amazing social media team and campaign team that Zoran has and had to win the Democratic primary, and why he will win the mayorship over fucking Cuomo, who is a name brand. He's up by about 20 points. It's insane. People should watch what he's doing, not the policies, but how he's doing it.
I fucks with that.
If you look at the link above, one of the things you'll see in the link above is, you can decide whether you like the analysis or not, but according to Adam Bonica, who's a researcher at Stanford, the relative position of the Democratic Party's policies actually isn't as important as people think. In fact, what he actually found was that leaning to the left actually boosted turnout in most of these elections and made them more successful. So it's worth considering that. I don't actually necessarily think the left-right thing matters as much as just having a candidate like Zoran who's willing to just like stand up for what he believes in. I think you can be a centrist and do that, although most of the centrists haven't been doing a very good job of doing that since Obama.
I think that,
but there is a way to win by just...
Yeah, this is good. Thanks for sharing.
I'm with Scotty. You need a jingle and a question. What if we had this? What if I could do this? It's like Roosevelt, These are the 4 freedoms. We didn't tell you how he was going to get it for you. You need a jingle. My baloney has a first name. Like that,
something people catchy, people remember it. They associate it with you.
I like Ike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just wild about Harry.
Okay, exactly.
You know, I like Ike.
I like Ike.
1 year one for
There you
JFK.
Wait a minute. What y'all telling some nursery rhymes I ain't never heard of? What's going on?
You 86 years old. What's your idea?
I'm 87. Get it right. Did somebody just call me stupid?
No, that was Bill Clinton's
It's
thing
the
in
economy,
'92.
stupid, yeah.
That was Carville, I believe, who got that. Yeah.
Yeah, so what happened to the tricky comebacks, to the slick talkbacks? What happened to that? Oh, I don't know. I feel like
They gotta get better people. The people, some of those politicos, they're too invested in the formula, and you gotta get people who can,
but there's something to be
the
said.
formula.
So is it because they're more experienced, and I'm trying to stay away from the word, but outdated, perhaps old?
Kamala she had a part of her team that was really good at like clapbacks and witty comebacks and stuff that really gets people energized. They just weren't given the latitude and the leeway. Like they didn't really let them do their thing until like the convention, which was kind of late. Like I put in the chat, if you all watched the convention, they were like really good at trolling the Republicans. Does anybody remember like the signage, the light spectaculars they put on the buildings across from Trump Tower?
No, I don't remember. Wait.
Yeah, like because he was one of them was like, I can't remember exactly what it was, but Trump was always obsessed with the size of the audience and the crowd. So they had like this huge like life size. It was like a projection onto a building that was right across from Trump's hotel that said something about the size matters or something like that. But it was witty what they said, but it was like a genius troll. They did that a couple of times. But they weren't allowed, like it was like they just gave them little pet projects to do instead of like really letting them go and do what they could do.
Remember when they were taking pictures of the audience crowd of when Trump was at the audience and he couldn't even fill up the upper room, the upper seating, and then all of a sudden Kamala Harris, and it was like literally standing room only. And they used to just post pictures. They used to just piss him off to no end. I remember that part, Johnny. That shit was hilarious.
I can't remember who it was. One of the speakers made a dick joke. I can't remember who it was.
Oh my God.
All right, can I also mention what is happening in New York when you're seeing the campaign right in front of you? What Zoran is doing very effectively is he's doing the man on the street kind of stuff. Like it's not these staid campaign commercials. He's out there on the street. He's talking with people. They have messages. They're literally walking and talking as they're doing it. They're doing the subway takes. If y'all ever seen that Instagram account where people are just being interviewed on the subway, like celebrities and whatnot. He's responding to everything that's being thrown at him in the media. He's also meeting with groups that historically would not want to vote for him, and he's putting it out there that he's meeting them. He's meeting with Jewish groups. He's meeting with at fucking Crane's business. He's meeting with all of these other people that did not necessarily vote for him, although a lot of Jews did vote for him, but like groups like going into synagogues, going into other areas that are not inclined, and he's getting his message out there, and he's softening up people's take on him. And the benefit of what he's doing right now for the Democratic Party is that the election is this November. And what's going to happen is if he doesn't reveal all the nightmares that people are saying that are going to happen to New York don't happen by this time next year,
then we're going to see a different take on what a more left-wing Democratic candidate in other races could do. It's not going to be as scary because people are going to see that somebody like Zoran is not the big boogeyman, and the people who adopt his, policies or his affordability stance is not something that's going to scare people.
All right, so this is a two-part question. This is real quick for you, Scotty. Has everyone from the Democratic Party endorsed Madani? I know the governor did.
The governor did. No, the cowards have. The cowards have not.
They haven't.
And they should. And they should. No, they should.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they should. And they're being fucking stupid. And that's
Charlie Kirk before he endorsed Mamdani.
Exactly. And well, he voted for, or I'm not sure if he abstained, but he didn't vote no against the Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day. And this is the kind of shit that people fucking hate. Stand on your fucking values. So, he shouldn't be in that, and I'm not even going to get into that. But Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are failing Democrats right now. And they're doing so by not endorsing Zoran in this. He is a Democratic Party candidate. In what world is that candidate not being endorsed by other Democrats who live in New York City?
But so I have a question.
He is a Democrat.
I have a question, though.
All right, I'll talk about second one later. Go ahead. No, because I'm going to take it. So if you want to stay on that, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question in terms of like Chuck Schumer and what his job is as the majority leader or the minority leader. I mean, are there not considerations that he? How do I want to say? Are there not things that he has to consider relative to his job, which is getting senators elected, right? And getting people elected? Is it not possible that some of those considerations are impacting his decision to get into or to endorse in the mayoral race?
Yeah, I'd say that's a legitimate thing. However, I think if he were to endorse, by the time all of that is going to matter in 2026, I think that'll be long gone, because it's eventually going to come out that he either voted for him or not. If he didn't, okay, fine.
Yeah, I just think about the people that he's working to try to convince them to enter races, and the people he's trying to raise money to get them to support people. I don't know. I just wonder about.
I mean, I think that's a fair political strategy question. I don't know if it's the same for Hakeem Jeffries though. I just don't. I don't understand it.
I
get
it.
Similar.
Wait a minute. Hold up, because we are at the bottom of the hour. Thank you. I'm not sure exactly who that was, but I'm going to come right back to you. As we approach the top of the hour, I just want to say hello to a couple people. Hey, No Carbs. Hey, Ari Boo. Let me see. I asked those questions for a specific reason because, right, Kimberly had mentioned something very, very important in regards to when Kamala was running, right? And if we don't have the strategic people that's supposed to be the strategists behind, if they're going to sit there and sabotage their own candidate, what hope does the Democrats have? Seriously, why would you continuously, because I think if I'm not mistaken, what was also in the book, and Kimberly, feel free to correct me, but she was explaining how whenever she would seem like she was shining too much, the people that's supposed to help the candidacy move forward, they would say, oh, well, she felt as though they would say, okay, well, she's shining too much. We got to put the spotlight back on Biden, which then caused her to feel, I don't want to use the word insecure because that's not what she said. But to me, the way she's expressing it, it feels like she felt like she had to dial it back in order for him to continuously shine. So she's playing this double role, okay, I'm playing vice president, but at the same time, I'm trying to be the president.
again, my overall question is, how are you supposed to win when people that's supposed to support you and supposed to boost you to go forward aren't really doing their job? Does that make sense?
I see what you're saying, but I think it's there might be some conflation because from what I've read, when she's speaking about the people that kind of tried to diminish her or keep her in a certain place, that was in her role as VP. That wasn't as much in the role of the presidential candidate.
Well, okay.
Like the two different timelines.
That is true, but there is some.
So I think sabotage might be a strong word.
Well, I don't know. I know we're all bottom lovers here.
I feel like sabotage is suited for how she may have felt it went when she was in the presidential race. But today that they might have been trying to diminish her or keep her in her place as a VP during the regular presidency.
Yeah.
Biden's president. I feel like sabotage isn't the right word, because if they work for the president, of course they're not going to want the VP to outshine the president. That's their job.
But that was the crux of the problem, because she was being VP but running for president at the same time.
No, so you're conflating the timelines. Yeah, that's what I was trying to make that delineation.
Okay. All right, let me hear from Kimberly.
Oh, okay. So the sabotage for me comes in when Joe Biden is I don't know if it's historically, but maybe historically, if you cut Trump out, an almost historically unpopular president, and Biden is making it really clear that he does not want her to move away from him. He apparently understands now, because he's had that intervention with Pelosi and he has the real numbers, that he is very unpopular, that he was on the way to losing, but still he keeps reinforcing to Harris that he calls her kid and all of this kind of stuff, like that they are a team and she does not need to move away. And then, of course, there's the story that's gone viral about him calling her right before the Trump debate and kind of almost rattling her a little bit.
Now, what is that story? Sorry, Kimberly? I fucked up.
No. I'm here. I'm sorry. My partner is talking to me. One moment.
Child, I thought my phone broke.
No, I'm trying not to prioritize Clubhouse.
It's okay. Go. Somebody else wanted to speak?
Well, just because she was asked about this at the GMA interview that Mel played earlier, and they were like, "We heard that he called you, or you wrote in your book that he called you before, and that upset you. Like, can you tell us more about that?" And she touched on it lightly, but she pivoted quickly, because I think obviously she didn't want that to be like the headline. So she was like, he was asking me to do something that was more, in his interest than mine. That's kind of all she said about it. So I'm very curious about this part of the story.
So she stated in the book that he called her and said, "My brother's head, you're talking shit about me, and I want to know what you're saying and if it's true." This is minutes before she was to step on stage to debate the orange, rapist that has, things with Jeffrey Epstein, with a dementia-driven Tylenol weirdo, him. And so what we saw is an explanation of how the Biden team, she was careful to name Biden when she needed to specifically give examples of what Biden did, but also made clear to differentiate between him and his team, some of which were on her campaign. So the campaign / Biden team undermined her as VP, and it is not true politically or historically that a vice president is not to shine or never have moments. Vice presidents have been given multiple moments to shine. Biden was given moments to shine. Al Gore, we've had multiple presidents give their VPs those moments to shine, because the role used to be that your VP is your successor, that the VP is going to run, that's how it's always pretty much been. I mean, that's just how politics work. So for his team, she specifically wants to make sure we know it's the team, to not allow her wins with what she negotiated in Guatemala to mitigate some of the migration that was happening from Guatemalans to the United States when she was, quote, sent down there, honestly, in my opinion, and a lot of folks' opinion, to do a suicide mission of figuring out what was going on with the border, why the migrations, why the crossings were happening. That was a tough, unpopular thing that they wanted to send her to go do, the dirty work. But she went and did it, as a public servant would. And when she was lambasted on Fox News, being called the border czar, the White House refused to push back. They refused to have a counter. They refused to respond. When she went and got the agreement with Guatemala and some of the other Latin American countries, they refused to let her go out and explain what she did, to tout it to the world, to name it. No one knew it existed. Everyone just thought the border was a mess. The bipartisan border security bill was the thing they were working on. No one knew anything about what she was doing. But we all online were saying, where is Kamala for 4 years? Everyone said, what happened to her? She's gone. She disappeared. They're hiding her. Why is she in hiding? She had a speech on Gaza that she gave that was incredible, that they hated, to the book, that they hated. And they told her, you gave the speech too good. Your speech is better than his. Well, guess what? His speech is insincere because he says, I am a self-proclaimed Zionist. Of course he doesn't get a fuck. So what are we talking about? She was better in the role in many areas than Biden. And that is not her fault. She should be able to pick up the slack. And the way you makes folks excited for a midterm is to say, I know Biden is getting older, but we have this young black woman here who is extremely accomplished. Look at all the stuff she's done. That's how you actually help the party stay confident in a particular administration and not have a red wave. We're lucky we didn't have a red wave, because we didn't know what the hell Kamala was doing. We only had the information that, they got the bipartisan infrastructure bill passed. Okay, cool. They got the infrastructure bill and the Inflation Reduction Act. Cool. And that's pretty much all we knew. And she was right to say we should have focused more on meeting the needs of folks immediately, with child care, with paid family leave, with expanding and making permanent child income tax credit. Like, there's all these things she talked about in this book that everyone does. And understand. I'm done. I'm going to be quiet after this. I just wanted to say there's a lot of things page. There's a lot of stuff she said that is true. She should have been given more of an opportunity to shine. We would have known way more about what she was doing. We would have had way more confidence in her when she decided to run, right? And we would have, I think, also had him not run at all and allowed her to be his successor. She was undermined. I don't understand how people don't understand this.
While we're under the topic of
I'm sorry. We can't. I have to keep talking. Back to the story. I'm sorry. I have that thing. You have to water your relationships, nurture your relationships. Okay. So the big call that I know Harris did not want to talk about because she did not want these quotes, like her real quotes. Okay. So it's before the big debate with Trump, and of course she fucking killed it, like blew him out of the water. But immediately before that, Joe Biden calls her and says that his brother, that he's been talking to his brother, who is like a mover and shaker in Philadelphia, and his brother is reporting to him that Kamala has been going around talking shit. I mean, obviously that's not the words that she uses in there, but right. And that she was minimizing Biden in order to separate herself from him. And they have a conversation, and then he also, during that conversation, according to Harris, says he talks about his debate performances, his great debate performances, and she's like, I cannot fucking believe this. Like, this is the most important thing I'm ever going to do, and we're talking about your debate performance? Like, what?
While we're on the discussion of...
And then, I'm so sorry. I'm still talking. And then, she talks to Doug. Doug Imhoff is there, and of course, like, he's pissed, and he, like, encourages her to let it go. But basically, she channels that frustration, that anger, and she freaking whooped the shit out of Donald Trump. But yeah, Joe Biden also he's a little shaky in this book.
Sure, you're right. But while we're in the discussion of vice presidents that shine, and Kamala Harris was certainly shine, but I think a decision making it could come into question when you pick a vice like a Minnesota governor. It's not he hasn't said a syllable in years, and so you have to rid yourself of the geezer and her decision making and vice president. It took away from, in my opinion, her ability to do at least better, if not win. If she's bringing some energy to the table, she's articulate, she's a nice looking woman, a lady that appeals to a lot of people. But then if she picks a vice that's just a geezer, he's just another geezer, or another like a toupee guy he's just another B-movie actor. So he's average and she's spectacular, and that counterbalances, and it causes her, I think, to actually lose the race.
That doesn't make any sense.
In my opinion, just my opinion.
Yeah, politically speaking, when you look at, first of all, when you look at Tim Walz, he's a popular governor, that doesn't actually work. I mean, what they were trying to do in getting Tim Walz was to get white men and get moderates, because he's a white man who also used to be a Republican who switched parties and became a Democrat and was a moderate Democrat, a centrist, and then got closer to the left in him being in office. And
but no known political record.
Just so if I could land
doing anything
spectacular.
Very strong network.
When it comes to Tim Walz, that was why he was selected. Shapiro wasn't selected because he is a Zionist, and Buttigieg was not selected because he was a and she is a black Asian woman. So it's like, of course, you're not going to put a diversity ticket all there. You are going to go after a white man. That's just like logical. Now, of course, there were possibly other options, but when you look at the Midwest is the way to win the presidency. That would be Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, which have voted with each other and in concert with each other since 1969. So guess what? If you can get someone who can appeal to the Midwest, hokey white men, that the theory is, okay, maybe you could win. The better choice would have been Shapiro because he can win you PA. However, he would have maybe lost you a lot of support in Michigan because of the fact that he's a Zionist and there's a large portion of Arabs there. So it's complicated politically. So she was smart to pick Walz. Unfortunately, Walz was a pussy and did not want to debate J.D. Vance. He wanted to compliment him. So you had that. The bottom line is that she should have had longer than 107 days to run. There should have been a primary. She probably would have won the primary, and Biden should have never ran for re-election. That is what
potentially she could have picked maybe a blue collar Democrat that had a little shine, and there are several out there. I mean, it's just so then it goes on to her decision making. So that's where you can from Truman Eisenhower to this hour. I will assure you that there were just a gambit of choices that would have outshined the wooden tooth governor from.
Who was a better choice for VP?
Many. I mean, she could have picked Hakeem Jeffries or your boy.
Why would you pick a New Yorker? Why would you pick coastal elite?
Why would you pick a ball?
Matt, just let him get it out. Matt. No, don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere, Matt.
And there were black people on the ticket in Virginia and other spots that Demi from Florida was shining. So people with skill and articulation, people are able to get their political message over, and I don't think he was very well endowed intellectually to take his political message to the top, at least.
Are we really talking about anything with Donald Trump in office?
Hello? Wait a minute. What's going on? Wait a minute. Hold up. I don't know where this conversation's going and spinning. We're going to bring it right on back. All right. Uncle, you gave your piece. Go ahead and land your plane.
We're right on top. Well, I'll put a link in the chat and I'll land my plane saying my.
Peace out.
Matt, get back up here.
Peace out.
Matt, where you going? Come back.
I'm so sorry. Congressional Black Caucus, please be there. We'll be there Thursday and Friday, and they'll have good stuff, even a hip-hop part of it. But we're going to bring the Cherokee, and the question to Donald Trump is, why did you put the language? Why did you say English now? And the Cherokee has a lot to say about that. So we'll be at the Congressional Black Caucus with Ben Crump, Honorable Ben Crump, Dr.
And that's next week, right?
It's now, Thursday, Friday. The hip-hop conference, I think, is at 2 o'clock p.m. You don't want to miss that. But you'll get your political issues over on the first day on Thursday. So all day Thursday here in Washington, D.C., you do not want to miss the CBC Congress and Convention. It's spectacular. All of you want to get your auto, your computer, your AI, ZI, A through Z. Every tech corporation will be there. The opportunity for jobs, recruitment, just the whole 9 yards. Young to old, everybody bring themselves to the Congressional Black Caucus this Thursday and Friday, basically all day long, and say, my.
Okay, just wanted to say this in response to what you said, because I'll just try. You don't pick one. So for one, if you have someone on the ticket that's from California at the top of the ticket, you do not pick a New Yorker. You need to appeal or try to appeal to the Rust Belt or the Sun Belt, or if you want just the Midwest in general. So you wouldn't be going. I mean, if you went after someone in VA, who are you getting? Tim Kaine again to lose? Like, I mean, I'm just saying, Tim Kaine again, Mark Warner, they're not getting you anything. VA is no longer a state you're going to really try to dig a nominee out of. I mean, I think Abigail Spanberger could be a great VP choice since you only can run for one term and you can't do 2 consecutive terms there for governor. So if she wins right now, yeah, she could be an interesting choice for VP, maybe, depending on how well she governs the state for these 4 years, right? But realistically, you also don't get someone from New York. I mean, Hakeem Jeffries is trying to be Speaker. You go pluck him from the House and he doesn't even appeal to accept New Yorkers. I mean, his national profile is, I'm trying to be Speaker. And people don't like New York in the Midwest. People don't like New York in the Sun Belt. They think these folks are coastal elites. You get someone who feels like they're from where they're from and who makes it easier for you to win, as I stated, those 3 states. Right now, because of how the last census went, the easiest path for Democrats is the normie blue states that you win and the 3 swing states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and PA, which have always voted with each other for the last 50 years. So you get a Midwestern guy, right? Or girl, or whatever. But if you're a Kamala at the top, let's take it, a Black Asian woman, you're probably getting a white man to be your VP who can appeal to those folks. Now, you could have got Pritzker. I don't know if Pritzker would have really got you those 3, to be honest. He would have got you a lot of money. Maybe he would have been a better choice than Tim Walz, but arguably Shapiro would not have been because of where we were at with Gaza. He is a Zionist. He was proud of being a Zionist. He was trying to condemn protesters at their colleges. He was not the right option. If we have nothing going on with the Gaza stuff, he would have been the perfect choice. He would have got you Pennsylvania. If it was a white man at the top of the ticket, Gretchen Whitmer would be a great option, right? But you can't have, unfortunately, in this racist, fucking sexist country, 2 women on the ticket. I mean, if we were in New Zealand, I would be like, yeah, hell, fuck yeah, because clearly they have sense in other countries. Our country does not. They want women as trad-wise, pregnant, barefooted in the house, praying and talking to God all day, and taking care of 9 children. That is what America, unfortunately, believes when it comes to that. So I'm not going to dig deeper into that, but y'all know what country we're currently living in. Charlie Kirk's America. So yeah, you got to think logically and actually understand politics. I'm not trying to be mean, but like, it's fine to suggest stuff, but you got to really study some of this stuff because some of these suggestions are just absolutely absurd. And also, whoever put in the chat, Gavin Newsom and Kamala on the ticket, that's also illegal. You cannot have 2 people from the same state on the ticket as president and vice president. They have to be from different states.
Yeah, I think it is affected with the voters' decision making. You see, there's a gamut of people. If you got someone out of Texas, a Longhorn usually does pretty good. There's several of them there. I mean, my. Yeah,
hold my hand, Matt. Just hold my hand, Matt. It's okay, Matt.
Yeah, Andy Bashir would have been a better option. Also, I thought someone right, Andy. That's my personal choice for president for 28. He makes the most sense. He gets you the South. And then if you want to go mixed up, get you maybe Gretchen Whitmer as VP to get the Midwest, or you could maybe even do Ruben Gallego for Latinos and the Sun Belt, or John Ossoff if you really want to get the Sun Belt and the South. He's young, smart, people like him. And this is, of course, if he wins next year for re-election in Georgia, and also if Georgia gets a Democratic governor, because guess what happens if he is VP and they win? That if it's a Republican governor in Georgia, they replace him with a fucking Republican, and it makes it impossible for them to govern in the Senate. Because we'll more than likely have, as Democrats, a 50-50 Senate in 2028, based off of what a lot of folks are saying in terms of just like probability. So you don't want to pluck a Democrat out of the Senate and throw them somewhere unless there is a Democratic governor in their state that can appoint a Democrat to sit in their seat. So that's what look at California. That's how we had, I forgot her name. She was the one that Gavin Newsom appointed to fill out Kamala's seat before, obviously she didn't want to run for re-election. And we saw,
LaFonza
get her seat. There we go. All right, LaFonta, yeah, who I also thought should have also ran for governor. She didn't want to, so there's that. But yeah, so that's how it works. You know, I just, I get it, naming people that are cool, but we got to be strategic here. We're not in the same country we all thought we were in 2024. We're clearly in a very strange world. Strange new world, strange old world, strange racist world. So that's all I want. Oh, Andy Bashir is boring as fuck. He needs charisma class. I'm just reading the chat. Sorry. Yeah, he needs to figure out how to become more entertaining and engaging. But he makes the most sense. He's in a D+35 state, Kentucky. Won re-election twice. Won AG. I mean, he's clearly someone who can win. And I think, you know, we're gonna have to bring back the South. The South's gonna have to come back to the White House, and not the South for Republicans, the South for Democrats.
The South is gonna have to rise again.
Yes, girl, period. You know, and I'm cool with mixing that up. I mean, you could just do a full Southern ticket. I mean, it's still kind of a risk if it's Andy and John Ossoff, but that would be fine for me. Or Andy
like
Gretchen Whitmer, or Andy and Ruben
like
Clinton,
Clinton,
Andy and Westmore,
like Clinton Gore, Arkansas, Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that. Return to the South. So I'm just saying, like, when you look at numbers, those are things that make sense. Like, Westmore helps you get the black vote, and Andy would get you the rest of what you need, right? If it's Andy at the top and Whitmer, she helps you not just get Democrats who are going to be excited you have another woman as VP, but she helps you get the win West. Because guess what I said? Those three states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, always vote together. She was currently is governor of Michigan, a popular governor, leaving office, and guess what? She would help you get those three. So you just gotta, it's not hard to do some of this stuff that a lot of people don't want to. Kelly over in Arizona, he'd be awesome. He would really help you get the Sun Belt. I mean, Kelly could probably appeal to freaking North Carolina. People really love him and Gabby Gifford. So I'm just saying, we gotta be strategic. But back to what we were originally discussing, his team, Biden's team, undermined Kamala as VP, and in my opinion, saddled her and really had her in a chokehold and muzzled during this election, because she was trying to be loyal, she was trying not to undermine him, she was trying to be a kind person, and unfortunately, she did not have enough of an identity or brand that fucking administration would allow her to have and carve for herself, because it would, make Biden look weak. You have an 80-something-year-old man. Get over it.
Yeah, I think part of what also happened with her was I actually thought she ran quite a good race in the beginning, and then just the wrong consultant, wrong strategist got in there and was like, "Yeah, you should definitely spend 6 days."
Pivot to the Chinese.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I think Tim Walz, frankly, in his ridiculous debate performance was part of that too. They told him to sit down and stop doing the thing that actually made him popular during the cycle, which was the whole weird thing, talking shit about Republicans, while also pivoting towards more of a, let's stop being weird and actually be together, which I thought was a message that was working. And then it was like, oh no, this is working too well, let's undermine it. It's never made any sense whatsoever to do that. You've got momentum, you're actually building something, and then you're just going to undermine it. And I honestly think, and Kimberly was saying this before too, I think the Mike Donalds of the world, the Anita Dunns, all of them just were stuck in 1996. Or some year that's long gone in a politics that no longer exists, and it just absolutely sabotaged them. Because she got close anyway. This was not a massive win.
Your Honor, it's kind of like you said with that with what you posted up there about how when they move further to the left, they do a little bit better. Because I honestly think the reason behind that is if you move more to the center, for those people that are on the fringe about voting, it makes both sides really look more equal than what they are. And that will, depress the turnout. And I think that hurt.
I think if Gaza had not been such an issue, then she would not have done the Unite America tour with Liz Cheney. I just think that, and I don't think that there's reason to believe that, they just gave up on the idea that the young people would ever, that they'd be able to bring the young people in because of the Gaza thing.
You know what's wild?
The young people and the suburban people, because they have to do the Michigan people too.
Do y'all think?
It was wild.
Y'all think that? Let me just say one more thing about the Michigan thing.
So how do you?
You want to go now?
Just
okay,
real quick.
Okay, then I'll go. No, I was talking about the guy. Okay, you go ahead. I'll go after you then.
Okay, I just want to ask Kimberly real quick. So how do you explain all of the emphasis she put on the women's control of their body thing? If that wasn't like for young people, like what was that about? Because I thought that was overly done.
For women, okay, so reproductive rights, abortion was such a winning issue in 2022.
Yeah.
The Democrats way overperformed in the 2022 midterms because of Dobbs. And so it polls well, and Harris was good at talking about it. That's the other thing that she, says, Biden was squeamish, right? Old school Catholic. And so whenever she was able to get out and talk about the importance of this issue, she could come alive. And so she thought that would be the thing. And abortion is still a winning issue. I mean, abortion is almost the most popular that it's ever been, in American history. But people would vote for abortion and then vote for Trump.
Yeah, I just think it seemed asynchronous or something, out of sync with what she had going on. The heavy emphasis on it, I couldn't tell whether.
That was when she seemed the least wooden, and I think that her people.
Not her people were performance of it, but just the mere amplifying of it. Because at the end, it sort of took over. It was all she talked about.
Oh, yeah. There's just a desperation. There was just, we're just trying to do what we can to get across the finish line toward the end.
And also, it kind of all messed up at the end. Hold on, before we lose the thing about Michigan, I just want to briefly say this. I saw some basically some political operatives from the Muslim American community speak the other day, and I was actually really fascinated at how much Muslim Americans actually voted for her. It's way more than I thought. I forget the exact number. I think they worked it out where if every single Muslim who voted, uncommitted in the primary had voted not for Harris, just like for anyone else, either leaving it blank, voting for the opposition, voting Jill Stein or whatever, it still would have been something like 65-35 in that community. It's really, really fascinating. I wish I had a link or something to it, but it was just
that sounds low to me.
And that really surprised me.
They all
low.
Maybe I just don't know enough about this, but 65-35 still seems kind of.
Yeah, I think if you look historically, it probably is a little bit low, but I think relative to the popular opinion of what happened with particularly Muslims in Michigan, people made it sound like Trump had won them or something like that, or that there was some mass move regarding Gaza that led to her losing Michigan. And if that happened, it didn't happen in the Muslim community, and that's what I thought was interesting about it. I'm not saying there was no movement, but it wasn't like people have been talking about.
What was the move? What was the move from Biden 2020 to Harris 2024?
Biden overwhelmingly won in 2020. He won it handedly. I'm going to say real quick with Latinos, in comparison, she won Latinos, but we all talk about how Latinos went to Trump, and that's actually categorically not true. She actually won Latinos, but the margins, the gains he made were so significant that yes, even though I don't remember if it was 55-45 or if it was 64. I don't remember the exact the numbers, but it was way more than a Republican had ever won them. So it did tip, unfortunately, in Michigan, tip the election for him. She lost by 80,000 votes in the state.
Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the only demographics that Trump really won were white men and women.
And young white men.
The virtue signaling of the white lefties suppressed the vote for many people on the left and suppressed the turnout. So although the Muslim community may have come around and voted for Kamala, there were certainly white lefties who didn't get the memo that they should have decided to vote for Kamala in spite of Biden's stance on Israel and alliance with the Zionists. And those white lefties, I'm going to continue to hold smoke for them because they were fucking an embarrassment in the last election. Thank you.
I wanted to go back to something though that Kimberly and Dr. A.G. were naming regarding abortion, and Kimberly definitely touched on it, but I wanted to just expand regarding the split ticketers. I mean, you had abortion on the ballot for Missouri, Florida, like 4 states or something, and all those white women did is said, okay, cool, yeah, I want my abortion, but I don't want Kamala. Democrats have to stop thinking that split ticketers don't exist, because they were split ticketed more than they split ticketed before in this last election.
Well, to be fair, they
should have not put it on the ballot. I'm just saying, like, these activist groups should have not done that. They should have said, we're going to let the election be what can help you all determine or protect or not protect those rights. Because if you're doing it, I'm saying strategically, because all they're going to do is say, I want my ballot initiative to be what I want it to be, and I don't want her because I don't want her other policies. Especially if you're a single issue voter. I mean, this split ticket, they have a whole article about this. They fucked up.
But what about like Arizona, right? So in Arizona, we get yes, abortion, yes, Gallego, no Harris. You know?
That comes to, unfortunately, that's Carrie Lake being an unpopular loser who lost already and came back and lost again. I do attribute that to Gallego going all around the state. He talks about going to like small podunk towns in Arizona that no one ever goes to. And I mean, I watched his like interview he gave after he won, and they were like, "How did you win?" Like, they wanted to talk to him involved with, Jackie Rosen, and asked like, "How did y'all win the state?" And I would say a lot of folks came out because of those candidates, yes, but also because of Harris being on the domestic ticket. She did help with turnout, so I won't say she did not. However, I think he got to win over some of those folks because he actually did the work in the state. She barely went to Arizona. She barely went to Nevada.
That's a good point.
She barely was there. She was up and down, going to North Carolina, going to Georgia, going to Italy, like 12 times or something. Like, she was focused on the blue wall. She was not focused really on the Sun Belt until the very end. Then you start going to Georgia. Then you start going to some of these other places. And that's the problem. I mean, she didn't have enough time. And I'm not going to, like, she was undermined by these idiots. He should have been what he said he was going to be from jump and once her president. He should have been setting her up after the fake red wave that didn't happen in 22. And by March, she should have been pre-campaign. We know Kamala pre-campaign. We know that she was dragging Brett Kavanaugh. She was already in campaign mode in 2018, 2019. We already know what Kamala was doing. Everyone goes, oh, she's running for president. We already know what's going on. So, and everybody looks said, this is my, what you said, my gladiator moment, or what the fuck he said. Like, we knew what was going on. Like, these folks are like overachievers. Kamala would have made sure to define herself, to brand herself. She would have been out there in South Carolina. She would have been Iowa. She would have been Kansas. She would have been all over. She would have been all over the Sun Belt doing her thing. If she knew he wasn't running, if that wasn't announced yet, but if she knew, it was an internal decision they made together, and they were going to prop her up, and knew she was going to take the mantle period as the fucking she was running.
Can I ask about, Matt, your assessment of Nevada? Because Nevada, I believe, was another one with abortion, and Jackie Rosen won. And yeah, what's
Jackie Rosen? So, firstly, when it comes to her war, she has a battle when his president, and with her with the president. And so, Jackie Rosen is always, unfortunately, not as good in comparison to Catherine Cortez Masto, but she's always still eked out victory. So she had a better shot to offer war to when she's an incumbent. If she was not an incumbent in Heisman, if she was a guy, she won by less than he did. I don't know that we would have a senator in Nevada, right? If she didn't run for election and it another issue of split tickets. Okay, cool. I don't have to vote for Kamala, but I can vote for what I want. But I didn't like Jackie Rose because I want someone who can check Trump. They interviewed me with Bob. They asked the woman, I'm not voting for Kamala, but I'm voting for Jackie Rose and I'm voting for Trump. And they go, well, why? What's the reason? She goes, because I want Rose to keep Trump in check. Right? And I was like, what the fuck? Yeah.
I want to add on to the Nevada thing. I mean, the Bidenomics messaging play was one of the worst political moves I've ever seen in my lifetime. It's absolutely horrendous. And Nevada is unusually impacted, probably the most impacted swing state economically by COVID. And just obviously tourism, all those people who worked on the Strip who aren't getting paid the same way, just lots of economic despair and stress. And I think that was part of the story there as well. That really dragged down that whole ticket. And I do think that if she'd had a chance to run a full race, that would have stayed, that stench would have stuck with Biden more. But in such a short period of time, I feel like that was already priced in. There's nothing she could do.
I completely agree. This is actually the same reason why I go down flames. If I'm wrong, I think Joe Lombardo is going to be losing his re-election next year. And everyone else disagrees with me. I think Aaron Ford is going to beat his ass. Not because Las Vegas, I have 5 friends there. I've told me it's completely dead. The Strip is the whole. I mean, Vegas is fucked. Worse than when Biden was in office. Like they are fucked. So I do not think that Mr. Lombardo also doesn't want to expand Medicaid there. Further, I think that I think they're getting rid of Lombardo. I mean, my friend calls him Lombardo. My friend is a non-partisan, which he hates politics. He goes, I know who I don't like, and I don't like him. I don't like him. He's like going a rant. And then I have other friends who just explains to me who are very also, either normie Dems or just like very much I don't pay attention. I'm a Gen Z. I'm a TikTok type of person, and they all have reasons to hate Lombardo. They're all like, he's impacted my job, he's impacted this, he's impacted that. So, the state pretty much hates that man. So, no matter what push polls you guys are going to read about him, that is going to lose next year.
Yeah, I think it's a preponderance of evidence that there's a cliche in America. They buy cliches, they buy into just the idea of gimmicks and cliches, not just in the Olympics and stuff, but in voting. Now, say for instance, that's like a cliche or gimmick. If Trump shows up flipping burgers at McDonald's, now by Kamala Harris already has some commitment from the Teamsters, and you have to carry the Teamsters to carry certain voters. She could have just showed up, parked in the truck, driving a McDonald's truck. That would have gotten her some balance. She wasn't running a counterbalance. If he showed up in Michigan, maybe she needs to show up in Ohio. She didn't run a very counterbalance to go along with the cliche. There's a group of cliche voters I singled out 1 year doing somebody's campaign. So I learned about the gimmicks and cliches that they buy. And then there's a statement in there somewhere that, if he can flip the burgers, I'm going to bring the food to the market. Teamsters is very important in there.
Do you know that Sean O'Brien, president of Teamsters, spoke at the Republican convention? She was never getting the Teamsters. The Teamsters are overwhelmingly Republican now. They do not like Democrats, even though Democrats have given them every single fucking right that they possess as a union to even exist. So she was never.
That's why she didn't
Teamsters. She could have not won Teamsters up because literally before she even really started her campaign, they were already.
If you show up driving the truck, you could win the Teamsters.
No, you can't. When your leader endorses, right, a Republican named Trump, before you even get in the race, you can't win the Teamsters.
Well, bottom line, if you're not doing, you're no effective, no more effective than your ability to skillfully use your community outreach and door-to-doors and hottest item guy. Because I'm not going to be long. I tend to be strong, but I will not be long. Yeah, I'm just going to say this, that if you have the opportunity to address the Teamsters can be won. If he's flipping burgers, and he's got all the people that eat burgers and people that make burgers, that means those workers have.
What are we talking about?
At the kitchen. I'm just talking about the Teamsters in
Teamsters are like they're drivers. They drive shit. They build shit. Like, what are we talking about? Like, that's not how they do it.
If she showed up to your job, it's just an example. It was only an example now. You know, but anybody showing up driving a truck would have got the Teamsters. I'm telling you.
So she should have had a big rating, bro.
My brother drove 2.5 million miles on the road. I have 1.5 million miles on the road. And I show you, you can win the truckers by showing up in the truck. Because you got to bring food to everybody.
I'm glad they have low IQs and fall into gimmicks like that. But she unfortunately was not winning Teamsters because they'd already decided their candidate, their president, Sean O'Brien, a no MAGA, who's been MAGA since 22, but went very public last year during the election. He crowned Trump their guy, and Trump Teamsters overwhelmingly support Trump because they're overwhelmingly men, and unfortunately, they're overwhelmingly white men. And unfortunately, guess who Trump always wins, and Republicans always win. They always win white men. So, unfortunately, since they've left the Democrats, since they really stopped leaning towards Democrats as a union and started leaning more into just their own personal radicalization, they don't care if you're a Democrat at all anymore. I mean, they don't even support Sherrod Brown, dude. Like, they just endorsed technically of the incumbent, John Huston. They just endorsed him. They won't endorse Sherrod Brown. Fucker, that's a union man, dude. Like, he doesn't even prove anything. Y'all fucking truck drivers. Sherrod Brown is a union guy. Big union nigga. Like, what's going on? The fuck? And they don't support him. So we gotta start paying more attention before we start offering some suggestions.
Yeah, be keeping it real. Obviously, choice of vice is not a winner's hand, and you got to play a winner's hand. And I can even show you how to be a winner to win for losing hand. That'll be on my next time at the mic, but nevertheless, you have to play a winner's hand. You're going to have Blue Vegas and the Teamsters, etc. Then you have to go after them, and have to make a way out of no way, invent the wheel, and go after them. There's a preponderance of evidence they definitely not going to come to you. Is everybody okay? We're good. Excellent indeed, never better.
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you so much.
I'm also doing quite well. I do think that I'm not sure exactly what is true or not, but I have a lot of skepticism that politics are going to function in the same way in the next election and the one after that. I feel like there's just something for me that rings hollow about applying kind of the old rules to this next election. And I hope I'm wrong, but I just think that there's going to be a level of intimidation from the federal government that's going to be on a scale that we haven't seen. I don't even know ever when it comes to the federal government. Like the last time the federal government was involved in federal elections, like maybe you'd have to go to like Reconstruction or something to like come up with a time period where the federal government will be deployed. Like I think it will be at the midterms. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope that we get like a free and fair election. Right now, I'm just not.
Well, also we have to remember that the vice president signs off on the, election results.
Jesus is not of the same nature as God is. Jesus is not.
Not going to come back to the Democratic Party. What are they doing for those people?
My contention is, there are people that would say that they're not doing anything, but that's
no. I'm not saying about people. I'm talking about you and the Mari.
I'm answering the question. I'm answering the question. If you don't want to shout over me while I'm answering the question,
Babe, I'm not shouting.